It's the Bennington Show on a Wednesday, or Wednesday as we call it here at the Today Show. And then we all drink wine. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I'm Ron Bennington. Send Vito in. Up on the iPad, go check out the Otto and George Unmasked that we did. One of my favorite Unmasked of all time. Obviously one of my favorite people of all time.
And he's got such fantastic New York stories. I love
Great
it.
stories. Yeah. Great stories. And, you know, RT that or whatever people do to pass it around because he's just great. And it was a really, really fun one. Really, really great time. Gail Meets Girls also up.
Yes.
That's a great one.
Brooke Arnold and Caitlin Bailey's new episode. And you can get that also at the Interrobang or go on iTunes and download and subscribe.
You got a sex worker and a cult victim. Would you call it a victim, I guess, if you're raised in a cult?
I think I would. And, you know, considering how rough she had it and she had to, she ran away from home.
She was a little runaway.
She was a little runaway and she just has insane stories. So that's two very like wild backstories and then both led them to comedy, which is kind of strange.
Right. And then you were in just a nice little bubble.
Yes.
Nice bubble of
I
love.
was so protected.
I had to be both mother and father to her.
Seems like mom did some stuff.
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
It's a lot of it, really.
I remember her going to bed at night while we ran around all night.
That is
having
true.
Fun. Vito, your latest obsession you put up today on the iBang, and it's got people talking. Another girl that you're obsessed with.
Team USA gymnast Michaela Maroney.
Was she Fab Five? Was that?
No, she's...
Fab.
Fab.
Final Five was this one.
Okay.
She's Fab Five.
Fab Five. What was the setup to Final Five? Fab Five was the original one that America fell in love with.
Final Five was they were the final five gymnasts.
Yeah, we don't care about Final Five.
We're Fab.
Oh, no, I thought you said it was... Okay.
Maroney she's already aged out at what? 21,
She's 21,
22?
so we can
21.
talk about it.
And she's aged out.
Oh, so old.
But why is the internet obsessed with her now?
Because she puts up the greatest Instagram pictures, videos on Twitter. That's why.
She's very grown up now.
Yes, she's an adult, but she's not. All right, the red picture is the one that blew up for her, the one in the corner here. And that because she very rarely lets people see her butt, and she has a gymnast butt.
Right.
Right? So, playing right into what today's obsession is, but she's a shy girl about it. Because one time on the Today Show, they said, turn around, we want to see your butt.
What?
And she was like weirded out by it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
When the last Olympics was going on, they would always have somebody from the previous Olympics kind of co-hosting during that week. And they really wanted to get some butt shots of her. And she wasn't into it. So today, and she like puts it in like this weird red, you know. But she is the latest kind of internet obsession.
Well, that's always weird because you're like, wasn't she like a toddler just like 5 minutes ago?
Yes.
But she is very grown up looking. I'm shocked because, and she is also the one who had like the
Not impressed.
The not impressed. That was
her famous.
Right.
That made her infamous, which was in a lot of ways almost better than getting the gold thing. And then she went around like it was that summer of I didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
From The Simpsons. So wherever she went, the person had to, you know, whatever talk show. I think the president of the United States did it with her, and now. But she doesn't know where to take this. She's not getting paid. You know what I mean?
No, this is just
There's got to be something she's got to think of how to turn this into money.
This is all for the followers. Love the game.
And again, she's very clothed in this picture.
Yes.
It almost seems like the more clothing, the better. Like you don't want to go.
The shy thing might work, maybe.
Yeah. Like, cause then you really get the like, either girl next door vibe or like I just snuck a peek at that butt.
The thing
She
is,
didn't want me to, but I did.
There ain't nothing girl next door about this kid. I mean, she's pretty street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's a corner girl, if anything. But it is the latest obsession, and anytime there is the latest obsession, I can count on Vito or Jen to be involved in one way or another.
Yes, Vito particularly for his Insta crushes.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
is that what
thing,
that's called? I like it though. Insta crush.
Insta crush. Her, Ariel Winter. They keep giving me what I need.
That's disgusting.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it is weird because you don't date. Where Chris, on the other hand, he doesn't understand Insta crushes. But up until recently, you dated a lot. It seems like you've fallen off.
Cool with it.
The last one I was with was the girl who got bronchitis after I slept with her.
Got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
And she says she still has bronchitis. I think she's starting to lie to me.
But why can't you find something new?
I had a match. I'm supposed to meet her like in a week.
No.
But everyone says she looks mannish.
Now, let me see the Spanish boy. The day I was born, Chris Stanley came around. Swap to the left.
Floating.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Why don't you have a DC date lined up? That's where you made your mistake.
Well, my plan was, as we get within like range of DC, I start swiping like a motherfucker to see if I got something lined up that night. But that was my plan.
But you pay for Tinder, so can't you like set your location to DC?
Can I? I've only ever been to New York.
This is a cute girl.
I don't find her mannish.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Who said mannish?
Did you get
Vito?
No, there's one picture.
And Jen.
All right.
Guys, you know he has a hard time dating.
I know.
I think the point with this picture is
That's a rough picture.
The issue for me is that there's no minimum amount of pictures you have to fit on Tinder, so that was her choice to put that up.
First of all,
you're mean.
there is nothing wrong with a woman that has some masculine energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's Chrissy Hine right there.
Exactly. I don't see anything wrong with it.
And also, you don't want a girl too fragile. You know, you're a big burly man.
And this woman lives in Manhattan. I'm trying to get something going with her, but she's a little older.
I don't know. For some reason, a lot of these people say she's like, not for hookups, nerds and dorks welcome, but she's a little Asian lady, 5'2", 88 pounds.
What? Wait a second.
That's tiny.
That's really small.
That's like purger. She's purging. And then she also says, and I don't know what this even means, multicultural polyglot.
I had to look that up. It means you can speak multiple languages. I had no idea what it meant either.
Because it's not bilingual, because it's more than two.
Yeah. I think she's a picture with Daniel Boulud. That's pretty cool.
But she's, she threw up in his, and look at her. She's got an eating disorder. It's kind of sexy.
Yeah, right? But so
she's the opposite of the mannish one.
Yeah.
She's a little tiny.
I just got a text from Jen. It's for you. We got one of those emergency broadcasts today.
Yeah, we can stay on for it, or we can go to break before 12:45.
I like to be on for it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Then we all can enjoy
if
it.
there was an emergency. Only once in my career was there an actual emergency that had to be, was running up at the time, and that was a tornado warning.
Really? And then do you guys have warning that it's going to pop in, or does it just pop in?
No, that one just pops in out of nowhere. I mean, that's an actual, they're not, normally 100% of the time, they just say, hey, we're going to practice, But this one said there's really a tornado right in your area.
Did you?
I just screamed on the air. I screamed and said we're all going to die. No, you have to stay on the air during emergencies.
Wait, what if it's something that people need to be evacuating for?
Then you have to tell them. You read to them and you help them. That's our job.
Then we need a bunker.
No, we're in the bunker. We're not on the air helping people.
I didn't realize I signed up for this.
Yeah. Trust me, some people do leave. But that was I always bring that up, 9/11. We had a shock jock radio station, and everybody had to suddenly drop the shock jockness and start doing radio. That's part of the gig.
Yeah, exactly.
If a hurricane hits, you're there with them.
With providing information.
Exactly. Now, if this happens, that's when you're the step-up person. I'm here. I'm giving you a responsible voice.
It's quite an honor.
I guess it is. Hey, Chris has a question about Chris's Tinder bio.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just really curious. Can we all know what he wrote for a description of himself?
Yeah,
How
I think,
himself
yeah.
to these other ladies?
Let's take a look at that, Chris.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, guys.
One of the problems is he put a picture of young Jackie Gleason as himself.
I've then still not one woman's known who that was or even asked, really.
I like Tom Waits and Scotch.
I do.
But I'm not limited to that.
Not.
I like that idea. Also, cats.
I'm a cat lover.
I've never seen you with a cat in my life.
I've never owned a cat. My ex-girlfriend had a cat. I love that cat.
Do you want to know how much he loves cats? I had a friend who needed to have a cat adopted, and he's like, I can't possibly.
You also the cat.
So you're not a cat lover, dude.
I am a cat lover. The cat had feline AIDS. I can't take care of a cat.
You're not going to get AIDS from the cat.
I'm sure the cat has some special needs. I need a healthy cat if I'm going to take one.
That's shitty. That's
really, that's the worst kind of stuff. Stop with the chapstick, dude. You can't talk and
You're
put on
moist
chapstick.
Enough.
You can put on chapstick or you can talk. You can't do both. It's fucking weird. It's Buffalo Bill time. How did the cat get feline AIDS? I never even knew this was a thing.
Yeah, the feline AIDS is a thing. They can live a totally normal, healthy life, like, you know, Magic Johnson style. You could just some basic medication and they can live.
Are you telling me that Magic Johnson had feline AIDS?
No. He had human AIDS. But yes, feline AIDS is a thing. No, Chris, you can't catch it. And the fact that you were concerned that you could catch it makes me worried.
Also, like, I'm sure it needs medication or something. I can't be giving a cat meds.
It's I don't know. It's a very simple process. That's all I know, and that they live an adult life, and it was very cute.
Cat when he before he killed it?
I didn't know he was going to kill it.
You know, for years he couldn't put up with it.
That was so.
He had a cat that he just sprayed with water for fucking 7 years.
Terrible. Poor cat.
And that cat's so cute.
Yeah, it was his cookie.
Oh, shit.
Then Chris writes, "I work on the radio. It's a weird job." What's weird about it?
I mean,
you're fucking weird.
I know, exactly.
The job isn't weird.
Well, yeah.
It's you.
A lot of people do this.
James says that I'm weird at my job.
Then he writes, "I'm 6'1", since people like to throw that out there. Mm-hmm. What isn't there to like?
See? And for whatever reason, that works.
All right, then this is some of your interest? The good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, it like links to my old Facebook account.
All right, so this is what he likes.
Mm-hmm.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, High Society Radio Show, Alien, Jason Nash,
what?
Ghostbusters.
Wait, what?
Everyone loves
Seamless.
Jason Nash. I don't know why Seamless is on there.
You put this shit on
Sam
it.
Roberts.
That's on there?
Yes.
I think because we're friends on Facebook.
Super Troopers, Caddyshack, Back to School, Old School.
You love school. Why'd you put Sam
East Side
Roberts on it?
Dave, the 1970s, Billy Madison.
The 1970s?
CeeLo Green.
Is this real?
Where
was I at 10 years ago?
The Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire?
Wait, what? Dude, what the fuck? You put this shit on there.
I know.
They Live, Ender's Game,
Yeah.
Bong Water, Leprechaun in the Hood,
Also a fun film.
Brett Easton Ellis, Andrew W.K., Chuck Palahniuk. Then it just says, I love Ron Bennington.
Well, I do.
That's fucking weird. I want this taken off. Donnie Dumphy. Old Time Radio Show.
These are the interests of a crazy person.
You put Ron Bennington in your
He
Tinder?
puts, I love Ron Bennington. Look.
I guess it was in my old Facebook profile.
The thing is about that is like the assumption is that you love all these things, but you went out of the way. I like this other stuff, but I love Ron Bennington.
I especially love Ron Bennington.
I want that deleted.
Oh my god,
I'm
this
gonna
is so bizarre.
You like Tinder? No, I'm going to sue.
All right, I'll send a cease and desist to myself.
Now, we are traveling down to D.C. after the show today, but we got a bang-up show tomorrow, Chris.
Yes, we do. It's It's Greg Stone Day tomorrow.
Kind of.
We have, we're playing Perfect Song, the Perfect Song demo with Greg and Anthony DeVito.
Right.
Street Jokes. And we're playing the live singing session we did with Mateo Lane.
Well, that's going to be a great show.
When
you guys hear Mateo sing, you're not going to believe it. Vito, I was getting some heat in the hall today from the Volume people because Chris doesn't stay updated with them. You're supposed to be a social guy, right?
Yeah.
How come you're not social guy for this show? How come we don't have you walking around the halls giving people updates?
I can totally be social walking around
But
the halls.
you can't be as dumb as Vito. You got to be businessy.
A new guy.
I can wear a tie.
No, you don't want to wear a tie. You want to not say dumb things like that.
Okay.
You don't want to think a tie will be a fool people. Okay. You see,
He's still wearing like a t-shirt.
Here,
It'll definitely add.
all right. You're young, right? Look at fucking Chris's Tinder. I don't want this to be your life. I can't save him.
It's over for this dude.
I would never let that become my life.
And the embarrassment of yesterday's Instagram pics of Chris eating. He had a 4-pound soda bread to eat. The fact that he ate 3.9 pounds of soda bread and still ended up a loser was just crushing to me.
It was crushing to me too. I'm going to keep it classy. I haven't defecated since then.
I know you're trying though.
Don't force it.
I went in the men's room upstairs. I thought there was a wounded bull in there. I just hear, I'm fucking pissing as fast as I can. I see everyone else looking around. I was looking straight ahead. I didn't want to be tied into what was going on in that fucking stall.
You can see those on Bennington SXM on Instagram.
Geez, stop plugging the fact that you're eating all that. All right, now Vito texted me that today's Instagram pic needs to be Jen's overnight bag. I haven't seen it yet.
I can show you a picture of it. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen somebody bring for a one-night trip.
I mean, you're going away for one night. You need a sandwich bag at most.
Yeah. 23 hours we'll be there.
This is the suitcase Jen brought.
Jesus H. Christ.
Jen!
What the fuck?
That's one of my smaller ones.
Honey, this is something, seriously, that Duran Duran needs to travel with their fucking equipment. I know I bring that up because they brought more equipment here than anyone I've ever seen.
That's insane. Like, that's it. A bag you would have to check. You could not bring that.
No, you had to ship this in a truck.
And it's like looks like a hard suitcase, like a really big, bulky. How are you going to get up and down the train like that?
I got on the bus with it. You know, it's pretty mobile.
Where do you put this on the bus?
I'm right next to my seat. Like I scoop my,
So you're taking his whole seat up.
So you're taking the other person's seat?
Yeah, nobody can sit next to me.
Weren't you complaining about not being able to put it under the bus this morning?
We are taking the fucking train that everybody takes back and forth to work. People who live in, D.C. or Philly and work in New York. This train is packed.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could hide it under my feet.
No, you can't. It's fucking huge.
You're going to have to tie it to the caboose and hopefully it drags it down the tracks. What do you think you're doing?
So those are options, and then I also have some shoes in there and my makeup bags.
Here's the thing. The option is at your home. That's when you pick your options.
But I pack for multiple weather situations. Might rain.
Look, I don't like packing light. As a woman, it gives me anxiety. But you have to do it sometimes.
I pack real light, even if I'm going away on 2-week vacation.
Do you?
Yes.
Because that I would bring on a 2-week trip.
That last time I saw you on a vacation, Gail, when we all met up, I didn't even bring, I actually had to run out to the store because I'm like, oh man, I'm just have the shirt that I'm wearing. I packed my bag and forgot shirts.
Great.
And I was gone for a week and a half.
Shirts.
Yeah. So I just went out to find the cheapest shirts I could because I'm not going to find, I'm not going to take the time to find a shirt I like on vacation. I had one shirt that just said "Go to Hell World." I'm a senior. I got it for $3. the different weather scenarios, you're going to go from a car, from a hotel to a car to a building. You're safe. Unless you have a hazmat suit or something in case of an attack, you're safe.
But if I want to walk around, I'm just packing for what ifs. That's all I'm doing.
You're not going to be walking around because we're there 23 hours.
And we're there for work. We're going to be working inside a building.
Have you been to D.C. before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's sad. So you think this is going to be your D.C. trip? Oh.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, well, you'd need more than just a couple hours. So you want to see the White House and all that? God.
I mean, if it's possible.
No.
Oh my God.
Not gonna happen.
Is one of your clothing options if you get invited into the White House?
Sure.
I do. I have some heels and a dress in there.
I don't know whether, are you going to post that suitcase pic?
Yeah.
You should, instead of that one, you should have her with her suitcase though. Try to make it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're now you're the social butterfly, you're the social media guy. You got to be thinking all the time.
I'm going to go roll that thing over here.
Good luck.
Why would he roll it over? He thinks he's going to have his picture with it?
No, I'm going to roll it over here for her.
Where is it?
Oh, it's hidden in the office because she didn't trust it anywhere out in the open.
Oh my God.
Who's going to take your bag?
You put it up later. It's crazy. Just put up a picture of the bag now and then her lugging it around later. I don't know whether you saw this, but the Trump children have taken their children on a skiing vacation in Aspen or some fucking nice place. And they have 100 Secret Service men are on this detail.
Holy shit.
And the president isn't even involved. The fuck? And no one points out to these kids, look, I know you like your ski vacations, but your dad's president now. Next couple of years are going to be a little weird. No. They just get to go with 100 guys.
Oh my God. That's crazy. I didn't even know. I guess, of course, it makes sense, but I'm thinking from the last 8 years with the Obamas, because their daughters were young,
right.
It's just like it's all contained. But he has adult children who are out.
And they have little children, and we have to protect all of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't play games with that.
Right.
You know, this is a crazy world we live in right now. Why is there a guy in a stretcher in witness? He heard car crash and 5 people on the ground. Where's that at?
That's in Britain.
I thought there was a gun involved in the UK. I thought somebody had saw a gun.
Looks like there was also a car crash that they said might be the result of panic due to the gun.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe it was attempting to do something. No, they blocked. Look what their weird fucking vans they have to block the street with. It's like the mystery machines are lined up as their fucking go-to cars. Hey, James, FLA.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up?
I have a killer impression of Wild Bill.
Well, Wild Bill, you mean Buffalo Bill? Because Wild Bill, no one knows what Wild Bill Hickok sounded like.
You have no proof.
Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Precious. Put the rest in the fucking basket.
First of all, that's fantastic. Second of all, I'm going to teach you about phone screening. Now, if I'm the phone screener and a guy calls up and he has a great impression and I had him do it for me and I thought this is a great impression, what would I say to him?
Just open up with the impression.
I would put him up as Buffalo Bill. Yeah. Maybe put a thanks. Great impression. Because it's never fun radio to go, hey, I have an impression and then do the impression.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So you're saying yes as if you agree, and yet I wonder if you do since that happened. Here's Sherman in D.C. Sherman.
Hey, I hate packing for trips. Went on my honeymoon, and I didn't bring any pants.
No, you were at least wearing a pair, right?
I was wearing a pair.
All right, that's perfect. Was it. That's all you need.
Just tux pants for the rest of the trip.
Down on the beach, you're dancing at night.
He's just wearing cut-off tux pants the entire honeymoon.
And then taping it back when he had to go out for dinner. I was actually in this discussion yesterday and see if anybody could figure this out. But once people started to dance solo, right? Mm-hmm. In other words, you're not trying to do steps or anything. We never really went back to dancing together other than disco. Disco was the last time that you had to use some steps to do new dances. Am I correct about that?
Yeah. I don't think that there are any other dances that I can think of where it's like the couple must learn the dance together.
Right.
And you would go out for dancing lessons so you won't embarrass yourself and everyone will know the steps. Like when I worked in a restaurant, the kitchen was like going out and they were going out to dance, and me and a bunch of my girlfriends who worked there were like, oh, we'll come with you. And they're like, you don't know the steps.
Where were they going?
We didn't to a club that was like Latin music, and we were like, well, we don't need steps, do we? No,
so
you need the
Latin
steps.
people still need the steps.
Yes, but I think it might have been I don't know, it could have been a little bit of a throwback situation.
See, that's the thing, because that happened with swing.
Right.
People could say swing in the 90s, but that was like, hey, let's act like it was the 40s.
Yeah.
Some updated music, but the dance was pretty much the same.
Like, I can cha-cha, but I don't know how to cha-cha with another guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to, backwards cha-cha in order to...
Could you and Vito go take cha-cha lessons?
I would love to take cha-cha lessons with Vito. I would love it.
I think the thing to cha-cha is you gotta cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha.
Don't stop cha-cha.
But why don't people like to dance together? I mean, what I'm saying is a majority. There's always going to be those Arthur Murray people.
Yeah,
but they're in a minority.
I definitely don't like dancing with people when they're touching you too much. Like, I'll go out dancing with my friends and we'll all be dancing together in a group, but then I always hate it, and I'll throw it out there, it's usually a straight male who will put you in this position where you're doing your dance, and then he's like, I'm gonna swing you around and take your arms like you're a little kid and make you move, and you're like, yeah, I got it. I don't need you to puppet my arms while I dance.
All right, he puppets you. All right. So that's the thing, is because bad dancers, there's always...
Right.
And there was, everybody looks back at the disco era and they just see John Travolta. But if you would have went to a disco in the 70s, you would have seen tons of people dancing poorly. Right. And throwing bows and being stupid. Hey, Alan, South Jersey.
Hey, Ron, I really love you guys. You're my favorite new show. We're about the same age, and I really appreciate what you guys do.
It's nice. Okay.
Down here in Southern Jersey.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I went to Florida one time with my wife. Got on the plane, realized I had left my wallet with all my credit cards, my driver's license, and my money at the airport in my car. But the best part, my sister went to the airport, unlocked my car while we were flying to Florida. The airlines gave my wallet to the pilot on the next flight down to Florida.
This is amazing.
And he handed it to me. He walked off the plane and handed it to me. We had to wait in the airport about 3 hours.
What airline was that?
Ron, I don't remember. It might have been Spirit. We flew out of Atlantic City. It was one of those little airlines that flew out of AC. And it's probably been 30 years ago. And if I said I might not be able to tell you exactly.
Because that's a great story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a great story that somebody did that.
That's customer service.
I don't like the fact that your sister can break into a car. That's very cool.
I couldn't have rented a car or anything, so it all turned out well.
All right. Take care, my man. Peace.
Hey, love you guys.
All right. You too. We love you.
More than anything.
More than anything. We love you.
Chris loves you as much as he loves Ron Bennington.
That's right. I'm going to put that on my Tinder profile.
And who wants to be a millionaire, I guess.
Who wants to marry a millionaire?
I don't even remember that.
There was a one-shot deal in the late 90s on Fox, and it was the guy from Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. He was some actor, and he wasn't even a millionaire.
Was it similar to
a
Joe?
2-hour special. At the end of it, they married
that's
each
right.
other.
That kind of started all the Bachelor stuff.
Joe Millionaire.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was a fucking great show when they found that guy who wasn't a fucking millionaire. There was another really fucking great show. I can't think of the name of it, but a guy goes to join a show, right? A reality show where they vote people off. And he was the only one that wasn't in on the prank. All the other people were actors, everything about it, the judging off, the stuff. And he had fucking, Joe Schmuck, I think was the name of it.
Joe Schmo.
Joe Schmo, that was it. And that was only one season deal?
I think it was only one. If they did another season, I didn't say it.
They did, it sucked. The first season was the season.
All right, put that in your Tinder profile.
First season of
early
Joe Schmo.
2000s reality TV shows.
Barry, Delaware.
Ronnie, all the people probably thought he was Joe Schmuck.
Yeah.
The country line dance and all that stuff. That was, I think, the last big you had to learn.
You know, you're right about that. The country people will do those line dancing.
Yeah, because they used to have all these. I remember. Well, I live in South Jersey. They used to have all these classes for country line dancers or something.
Yeah. There used to be this giant fucking place in St. Petersburg, Florida that did that kind of dancing and that kind of music. And I mean giant. And it would just be people dancing. And then when the song ended, it looked like a giant white wave coming back as people walk. Just all these people in cowboy hats without horses or jobs that you needed it. But they would put on cowboy. You know, you're in a place that had zero cowboys.
Right.
But you couldn't, I guess, go out.
This fall, this last fall, I went upstate to visit a friend. We stayed at a hotel just randomly. Had no idea that there was a big, line dancing convention that was happening in the hotel. And it was something, it was so weird. It was out of The Shining. It was a really old, kind of Adirondack type old hotel. And we walk in and there's 100 people on the dance floor. And they're doing line dancing until 3 a.m., 4 a.m., just doing all the steps that everybody knows every step. And the weird thing was not everyone, but maybe 1 in 15, 1 in 20 were dressed up in a weird furry costume. But not everyone. But one
is it a pony or something that the other fucking cowboys could ride?
But they weren't no one was acting like it was weird. And one guy was dressed like a T-Rex in a big old T-Rex costume.
That guy I would dance with.
One was in a bear suit. But it wasn't everyone. It was just every couple people.
Wherever you go, somebody is LARPing. You know what I mean?
It's so weird.
When you go to fucking St. Patrick's this year, just tons of LARPers out in the middle of it. Every fucking thing is Halloween these days. Infants. Adult infants are running around. Here, plug me in there.
I will.
And I need to buy some of these things today. Everything has to be taken care of.
I will grab those.
I'm not Jen, I'm a last moment trip person.
This is my bags full of vapes.
Vapes and cigars. I'll vape where you make me and I'll smoke where I can. Jen is getting on the fucking Queen Elizabeth. Just a big steamer truck.
I'm going to find a new life in Washington, D.C.
Gail, when you now can you two-step? Because when we get to Austin, there's two-steps cowboy bars there.
I don't think that I have done it before, but I am willing to learn, so I'm Austin ready.
That's Austin prepared. Hey, CJ, what's up?
Yeah, hey, Ron, that place in St. Pete you were talking about is called Joyland.
It is called Joyland.
Yeah, my dad used to go every weekend. That's where he met my stepmom.
This place was gigantic. And where do you live now?
I live over on the other side of the state. I live near Daytona, but at the time I lived in St. Pete.
All right. That place was so big, they actually had a little AM radio station that used to just play about the size of the parking lot, and that was Fez's first radio gig.
Oh, man, then maybe that's why I know the name. I'm why do I know the name Joyland?
Well, it was on 34th Street, I think, so you would have seen it driving past it. I mean, it was enormous.
I don't even think it's there anymore. I think they closed it down.
I'm sure that you're right, because I can't imagine what the rent would be. I mean, the place would, I mean, it was massive. CJ, I'm sending you into the pretty good prize closet.
Yeah. Good deal.
There you go. Line 3, pretty good prize closet. Here's Bill in Virginia. Bill.
Hey, how you doing? Have Chris add the Jim McMahon's XFL to his likes, and his most valuable player from that year.
Jim McMahon. You just have one happy year with Jim McMahon.
That was a weird set of likes I had. I don't remember adding any of those.
I think Sam Roberts is your funniest.
Yeah.
You must have just really liked him.
Yeah.
I loved him.
And like...
No, I liked him. I loved you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a time capsule of your shitty personality.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
I mean, you can't look back on that with pride. There's nothing there that you feel good about.
Wow, no, Brace Nelson, Chuck Palahniuk are still good.
What's that?
Brace Nelson, Chuck Palahniuk.
Couldn't understand those words that you said. Couldn't understand them at all. Just sounded like a dog chewing on its own tongue.
Chuck and pretend.
Chuck Palahniuk.
Who are you tapping away at there? What are you fucking doing instead of the show?
Tinder.
No, I'm not.
What are you tapping away at?
I was looking through the fucking. I'm gonna just turn my seat.
What were you looking through the fucking what?
The Tinder.
Dude, that's an obsession now.
I get compulsive. It's my new soda bread.
It was a one-day thing.
You don't need a new obsession a day.
Every day. Yeah, just stay obsessed on some things.
Can I not sit next to soda bread on the train?
You should be forced to sit next to me now, just for not lying.
No matter what happens, I ride alone. I'll ride down with Judge Trunk. Here, plug me into that one.
Yep.
Just like one thing after another I need. All my science stuff.
I know.
I'm living
Your
in the future.
technology is failing.
Yeah. Chuck Barris passed away last night. I had him on the show back when we were on 57th Street. And he was one of my favorite people in the world. But a weird thing is everybody would mistake him because the name was Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
And then both of them died within days of each other.
Oh, that is strange.
Yeah. Even though they had nothing in common.
Chuck Barris's Gong Show?
Yeah, first he started he had a fascinating fucking career. He was working in TV up here in New York, and I think he started as like one of those people that take people around in NBC. It might have been his first job. And then he got to work something to do with the Mike Douglas show in Philly, and he would ride back and forth to the Mike Douglas show. There he met Dick Clark, and then he wrote a song. He only wrote, I think, one song in his life, and it became a hit single. It was called Palisades Park. It was about a park.
Oh, yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, it was about a park that used to be up in Jersey. And then he got the idea for game shows, and his first game show was The Dating Game, which was a giant fucking hit. And his second show was The Newlywed Game, another giant hit. So he's running these gigantic fucking shows as a young guy. And then he got the idea for the Gong Show and hosted it himself. And it was, again, a hit. Then after that, I'm not sure if I think he had some things that weren't as big, but they got on the air, and then he sold the whole thing for millions of dollars. You know, back then, millions of dollars would have been enough, and was enough that you could retire on. And then he wrote this book that was just great. I mean, fucking great. That people took the wrong way. So the book was, he told that story like any other showbiz biography, but then he wrote in that he was a CIA agent killing people while this was happening, right? And I'm telling you, this fucking book was so entertaining. And they turned it into a movie. Sam Rockwell played him, was fantastic, but everybody was pissed because it took some of the edge off of the book.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie. It's still a fun movie to watch, but it's clearly not as good as the book was. Although I thought Sam Rockwell was fucking scary, how much he nailed Chuck Barris. I mean, even when I met Sam Rockwell. I was still thinking Chuck Barris the whole time. Yeah. But he's one of those guys that just had a fascinating fucking show business life. You know?
The Newlywed Game was one of those shows that was always on reruns. Like, I watched a lot of old Newlywed Game shows when I was a kid and loved them. But the Gong Show is one of those things where it's like a cultural reference that I have, and yet I don't ever remember that being on reruns or really seeing episodes.
You know, they brought it back a few years ago with Dave Attell hosting. And then an old friend of mine, radio chick who I worked with at NEW, she bought the rights. Somehow the rights came up.
Wow.
And she was able to buy them for, a song. And they still take the Gong Show out around the country. And I think she was like executive producer of that Attell show, because when they brought it back, she owned the name to it. It was, it was a fucking hilarious show. It had a shelf life. It wasn't going to go on forever. But when I was a kid, we would fucking gather around the TV to watch that, and we loved Chuck Barris. And then it was a show that, like, Gene the Dancing Machine would come out and dance, and he did this crazy dance with this song. And, like, if you were watching TV, you got up and did the Gene dance. You know what I mean? If you were watching it with 10 people, you got up and did the dance. It was fucking so funny. And there wasn't, at that point, you did not make fun of people on TV like you do now with reality shows.
Yeah.
A lot of people consider him kind of the godfather of reality. And even the Newlywed Game, what you watched that game for was for someone to get the questions wrong and some woman to give her husband shit.
Right.
That was the whole fucking point. And they actually had to have bad prizes, right? The prize would be like a refrigerator or a color TV, because they found out if they had something really valuable, the people fought for fucking real and were fewer, you know what I mean? Like, we could have fucking went to Hawaii, but you're too fucking stupid to remember what my mom did, you know what I mean? So he had to say, oh shit, you know what I mean? This isn't fun. And they had to keep bringing it back a place or two. But it was, he was a fascinating, strange fucking guy. And I thought one of the funniest things is he tells in this biography, he's a kid, and he tells this friend of his sister, and I imagine they were all on the young side, but she must have been younger, that his dick tasted like strawberries to get this girl.
It's great.
Oh, God.
So the fucking CIA agents, when he's going around killing people, keep calling him Strawberry Dick. Because they knew everything about him. And the thing was, they had been watching him, and they had figured out that he was the worst kind of person alive from doing these shows, that he would be perfect to kill people.
Right.
Because he would feel nothing.
That's such a smart concept.
Now, he writes this fucking hilariously surreal fucking story, and then he would go places and say, they would be like, no, we've looked into this. There's no evidence at all that you were a CIA agent whatsoever. And he goes, of course there isn't. Why would they make that public? Is something I don't want to talk about. So when I interviewed him that time, and he was older, just at the end of the interview, I just said, and I want to thank you for your service. Give him a little wink. But I liked him too. He was a Philly guy, and always like, if anybody that was a Philly guy could do anything.
Sure. That
was always my pleasure in life. But he had, apparently he had, he was involved in the music business to bring people down to American Bandstand and Jerry Blavat and all that. Every single thing that he did in his career just seemed like a gas to me. His name should have been Jumpin' Jack Flash, if I'm going to be totally honest. But anyway, we have that interview somewhere. We would have played it today, but we're going to have a busy day. But he was one of those guys that when I was a kid, I just fucking admired the shit out of him. And he was crazy and always had crazy girlfriends and shit, That's always another thing that I like. I like a crazy private life in my heroes. I don't want anyone that's just professional. That annoys the shit out of me. Yeah. That's why I think it's great that Jen has a big, crazy fucking case that she's going to DC with. And she thinks that this is going to be a working vacation.
23 hours.
By the way, there's no such thing as a working vacation. Everyone should always figure that out.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah. Just
That's why it's better than a vacation. Because that's just, you're forced to enjoy yourself, and that's more pressure than any human. That's more pressure than any human can have.
If I don't have fun, this is going to be a huge disaster.
Like when you go to the beach on vacation, that first 5 hours,
you're just like laying on the beach, just trying to take it in. This is good, right?
This is really good. I'm going to have another cocktail.
I needed this.
Yeah.
Right? We needed this.
Sun feels so good. Not like those assholes still working.
I wonder what they're doing right now.
Guess I'll go in the water in 20 minutes.
Bill, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I heard you talking about Chuck Barris and the Gong Show. They're actually bringing it back again. It's going to start filming this summer, I believe, or filming later this year, and then air in the summer.
Who's going to be doing it? Do you know?
I don't know. I think Chris Stanley was in talks, but then
the thing that would be tough to do is you have to go so much further to shock now. You know what I mean? Just like, if you really think of it, what the Gong Show became was the early rounds of American Idol, where you would see people who thought they were good and then they weren't. And remember how upset people would get about that? You know?
Yeah, because it was just like crazy, mean-spirited, like, this special needs kid can't sing. And then you'd be like, is this good entertainment?
William Hung became an icon. William Hung sold singles on iTunes.
Yeah, but as something for people to mock.
But it's like that Meryl Streep like movie. You know what I mean? Like everyone's laughing that he is actually terrible.
We actually have to hit our EAS test right now.
Okay, so do it.
Okay.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
This is a coordinated monthly test for Sirius XM radio. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. If this had been an actual national emergency, official messages would have followed the alert tone. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
This has been a test of the emergency alert system. If there had been an actual emergency, official messages would have followed the alert tones.
See, there you go. We're all done.
That's what it would sound like.
So when you hear that, you know the world's ending.
Just go into a blind panic.
And grab as much water and supplies as you can get. I was just thinking one more thing about the Gong Show, just to show you how the shock thing has changed. But this would still be shocking. They did a bit, I think it was called the Popsicle Twins, right? And there were two underage girls, and their thing was just sucking on a popsicle.
Holy shit.
What?
Yeah.
They didn't get gonged, did they?
I can't remember, other than the fact that that's when people were going, this show.
Now,
I don't get it.
The trick that they were doing was just deep throating? Is that what they were doing?
It wasn't even deep throating because that would have went too far. I would say shallow throating. They were just enjoying popsicles.
Light
together.
sucking.
Yeah.
Look, we all have this skill. I don't think
I like them.
I don't know what it is, but I like those two.
So they get the prize. But you couldn't, any of that stuff today, people, the audience is too sophisticated.
Right.
We already have, an internet. Although I was shocked that people went for an old-fashioned show like American Idol and the spitting fucking show. And the Dancing with the Stars is ridiculously old-fashioned.
It really is. And it's massive. Like, that's one thing where it's like, that's like one cultural thing I just completely missed out on. I've never watched a Dancing with the Stars. I can't imagine watching them.
I was 100% with you. And then they caught me because Bruce Willis's daughter. The fact that it was Bruce and Demi's daughter, and, you know, Bruce and Demi were, you know, the two movie stars of my time, and they had a daughter grown up, and then she was getting happy because she was dancing, and the whole family would show up to clap.
Really?
Yeah, Bruce was there and Demi,
nice.
even though they weren't together. And I'm like, I'm just going to watch next week because she's good. This kid's good. I think she ended up on Broadway dancing or something, too. But they can get you. All these shows, they can get you. Well, it's like that show that you and Jen watched now that I swore I wouldn't get into because it's a soap opera.
Big Little Lies, yeah.
I'm like, it's a soap opera. She's like, watch one or two. Just watch it. I watch a couple, and then I'm like, this is so ridiculous. You know who I think is the killer? And now I can't, you know, I'm waiting for that show.
Yeah.
Like, just because something is kind of hacky or old-fashioned doesn't mean that it can't get to you.
No, I tend to do that where I can really get into any storyline. Doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but now you become invested in characters.
Now I care about
and you're like,
them.
well, I gotta see what happens. It's a Riverdale scenario that I am now in, where I'm fully aware this isn't good. First couple episodes, I think we had decided it was almost good. We were like, oh, they're trying something. Now I'm like, I'm watching a shitty teen drama, and again, I gotta know the killer. I want to know what happened.
It's the problem if you get into any story. You want to know where it's going.
Gail, bad news. It's not on this week again.
Andy in Atlanta.
Hey, Ron, I watched an interview with Chuck Barris one time where he said that when he was pitching the Gong Show idea, they said, we'll only do it if you host. And he really didn't want to. And when they talked him into it, he said he didn't care so much that when a dog act would be about to come on the Gong Show, he would have a bag of dog food backstage that he would rub onto his crotch so that as soon as the dog came out, he just abandoned the trick and ran over and started sniffing his crotch, and the act would get going.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally like an old vaudeville bit, which was, you know, it works. I'm sorry. As hack as that might be, if I see a dog run over to a man, and the thing is, he had Chris Stanley's ability to throw it from one thing to the other. He'd be like, yeah, we're going to be back with more stuff on the big show. Like, he just didn't know what he was doing. He used to have a hat rack, and he would put different hats on, you know? So then when we were watching the show, we would put different hats on and act like we were doing it. We'd rather do this than go to fucking school. Here's James. James in Utah. What's up, buddy?
Oh, it brings back some good memories. Yeah, I'm the youngest of 6 kids, and back in the 70s, we used to do the Gong Show. You know, we'd make up our own skits and everything, and I didn't know at the time my oldest brother had told the other brothers and sisters that when I came up there to never laugh and just stare at me with zero expression. And so I'd try harder and harder until I'd finally start crying, and then they'd start laughing, and they'd go, ha, 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 ha. And as soon as I started crying even more, then they'd laugh, and that was our Gong Show.
It sounds like the best thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Rick in Reno, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys, bringing back some good memories. I was getting the two confused. Make Me Laugh and the Gong Show. Was there a panel on the Gong Show?
Yeah, you had J.P. Morgan was the steady one, who was, I think, like an old torch singer, but then she would be like a dirty, to me, old lady at the time.
Right.
Because I guess she was 40 or whatever. But she would always act like she was going to bang somebody on the show. Jamie Farr from MASH.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Artie Johnson would do it. The Rex Reed would go on and do the show, yeah, and he would be like disgusted.
Was the unknown comic from that show? Or
the unknown comic was on the show, and he got a big career out of it. And he was a guy who did basically street jokes. And he would come out with a bag, like a lunch bag over his head. Be like, Chucky, baby, Chucky. Why doesn't, you know? And there would be like, seriously, he would be doing like, you know, jokes that you couldn't get on TV these days.
Right.
Because they were racist or anti-Polish or anti-Italian, right? And then, Chuck used to like physically push him off. Like it would get ugly sometimes. He'd like, get off the show. Just get off.
Ronnie,
you're done.
did you ever work with Rick Rockwell? He was that millionaire comedian. He was a comedian. I Married a Millionaire.
Yeah, no.
And they figured out that he wasn't a millionaire because he just flipped houses, and he and his dad kind of.
He was the I Married a Millionaire guy, and there's always some guy in comedy who has really spoofed up his resume, and then he works a lot of corporate gigs.
Right.
And then, the occasional Vegas thing, but he always acts like he's one of the biggest comics in the country. There's a guy who does it now. I'm not going to fucking out him because enough comics attack him at all times. But there's always that. There's always been that guy, and there's always going to be that seriously minded comedian guy.
Right.
And he was one of those fucking dudes that was all about, trying to act like he was a bigger deal than he was, and it works. Let's go over to George in Chicago. What's up, George?
Hey, love you. $1,000,000.
Thanks, buddy. $1,000,000.
I heard today on the morning news that at one point, Chuck was responsible for like 32 hours of programming on TV a week.
Well, he had the two games that we mentioned that were. They were running in the afternoon and running in prime time, right? And then you had another 5 hours a week or so of the Gong Show. There was a thing called the $1.98 beauty pageant that, I'm trying to think of the comedian's name. He used to throw fucking confetti wherever he went and pull his toupee up. Damn, it's right there. Rip Taylor.
Yeah.
So, that's 20 hours right there. And then there was shows that were somewhat like American Idol that he did, where there was one that they just went away and put around variety shows to troops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like really, old school type. It didn't matter to him whether it was shock or really traditional.
By the way, I was going to try to give you Rip Taylor, and then I was just like, Rip Torn, and I was like, don't say that. That's definitely not Rip Torn. And I was like, how could there be two people named Rip Torn? Because his name is definitely Rip Torn.
That's hilarious. But yeah, and those, the $1.98 beauty show, they really, they just brought out unattractive women and fucking attacked them. It wasn't,
That's horrible.
Alex in Oakland.
Ronnie, I would watch, I was probably 8 years old when that show would come on. I was fascinated by Gene the Dancing Machine. He'd come out there, and then Chuck would rub his hair underneath his hat or something, like a beanie.
Yeah.
And the funny part was, they would always throw shit at Gene the Dancing Machine.
Yeah, they would just throw, and I think that was based on when Steve Allen had Elvis on. He threw stuff out on the stage. I think he threw, like, when Elvis was doing Hound Dog, he'd chuck, like, stuffed animals or something, right? So when Gene would come out, da, 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 and he just throw his arm up. He's just like, I think he actually even worked there as like a custodian, and then they had him come out and do this funny dance. Just put it up. Just put Gene the Dancing Machine, Chris, and you'll see it. So then they would throw stuff. But if you were watching at home, you threw shit at your TV.
Right.
It was very Rocky Horror.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But Gene, this was, in my opinion, one of the great acts of all time. Bring it up, Chris.
I'll read this letter for you.
Look at the hat he's wearing.
Huntley, Montana. And it comes from Dan Parlish. And he says, I watch a show every day on a Billings, Montana station, and I love Gene the Dancing Machine. I just wish you'd give him another chance. So, all right, let's give him another chance. Lay on now. Here it goes.
What is happening? Someone's getting choked right now. I don't know why.
So it's just a great show. That's what's happening. Just a wonderful show.
I love that TV at one time was just a fever dream.
Yes. Yeah, it was. And I mean, like, the number of people watching this show was crazy.
Like, this seems just like a crazed acid trip. We're in bat country right now.
Well, that's, if you think about it, I mean, it's the same time as Hunter Thompson. It's the same time as acid got to the suburbs.
This is wild.
And I'm telling you, this was the best part of my whole day. I mean, like, when Gene would come out, forget about it.
They're just going crazy.
Yeah.
This bit is still going, and it's nuts, and they're still throwing shit. And he's dancing just as much as Gene.
Barris is losing it.
But, I mean, like, you think this is weird, but just think of Big A, the insult comic, how crazy we went that night. You know, when look at Chuck. He's just act like he's passed out over top of a wall. He just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, but you're right. It is like when Big A, the insult comic. Like, how weird is it that that's something that continues on, that weird mob mentality of audience. Like, you had that during like Shakespearean theater, but it could also be in, you know, Roman, like that. Like, it's just like everyone goes crazy, and then they're yelling things, and then they're throwing things, or they're just like, It's like, how is that something that we've inherited?
It just feels good to be part of the in joke. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's the inside joke. It feels fantastic to get it.
And we love to like yell, we love to chant things, we love to like know what we're going to do as an audience, you know? This is when the audience does this.
Right. But it's call and response.
Yeah.
I mean, that was in old blues, and it's hip hop today. I mean, when you go to see a hip hop show, the amount of time that they're asking the audience to say yay is most of the show. I mean, you know, the people love that shit. It's been around forever. Here's Larry in Vegas. Larry, what's up?
Hey, I was just talking, I was just thinking about the time I used to work for FedEx and delivered, and picked up from, Chuck Barris when he lived on 76th Street in Manhattan, off Madison Avenue. And he was such a laid back guy. I would go into his office on the second floor of Brownstone, and he'd just make me laugh, just by telling jokes, just corny jokes. And secretary would just roll her eyes and just grunt at these jokes. But I'd be hysterical, and he'd be saying, "Oh, she just hates me," and and just the things he would do. I mean, I would sit there for almost a half hour just listening to him talk about New York City and Paris. He would be.
He loved Paris.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did, and he was just a funny guy, just so laid back.
He was a street guy, and he was a hustler. Matter of fact, when I was talking about the Otto and George Unmasked that we put up, it's very weird, all this coming together in my memory at the same time. But Otto was doing a show in Staten Island that he was putting up on the web called Pig Roast. And it was very much had the feel of the kind of show that we're talking about. You know what I mean? And Otto was a real traditional, almost vaudeville act, except for he cursed and used, you know what I mean? Like he would never be able to do that.
But he's like still painting with the same colors.
It was very much in the tradition of those guys. And I remember, him saying to me that he would have been more comfortable in the age of W.C. Fields and the Marx Brothers, right? Well, you can see that in Barris at the same time. They're like, let's put on a show, and let's put on a crazy, wacky show, and let's make it fun and funny, and then also shocking. It has to add that extra element.
Right.
And the always the problem of being shocking is, where do you go next? You know what I mean?
Right.
That always, like, you can look back at some things and they don't seem. See if you can find the Popsicle Twins, if they even put that on. It would seem, as a concept, it's nuttier than when you actually see it. There is, you know, the fact that if you did it now, you would think that they didn't go far enough. But the fact that they did it at all, little girls with eating a popsicle as entertainment. Go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the girls in this next act says her hobbies are boys and first aid. I guess that means that on weekends, she cruises Hollywood Boulevard in an ambulance. Thanks a lot, Mark. Here she is. Oh, I love this act. Oh, now this has some substance. It's about time we had substance on this show. Of fame. Here comes Have You Got a Nickel?
Holy shit. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Do it! Do it! Shit!
JP is the one yelling, do it.
Watch your head.
Oh, man.
They didn't get gong.
So he carried her away so she wouldn't gong?
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
Yeah, they would always do. They would try to block the gong.
Right.
You probably couldn't do that on TV
No,
today.
I don't think you could.
And you really couldn't do it then?
That was fucking crazy.
And of course, that is, have you got a nickel? Andrew, what's up?
Hey, Bennington's. One of the best parts of the Gong Show was the judges were, at best, C to D celebrities, but for us, they were like superstars, you know?
Well, I remember, and I forget who I said this to, but when I was a kid, I didn't know the difference between, like, they were the same level of celebrity to me if you were on a game show or if you were Paul Newman. It just didn't matter to me. You were a big celebrity. And as soon as somebody gets on the show, like J.P. Morgan was a celebrity to me.
Yeah.
Nothing else that she did in her life, but just from being on that show.
Yeah, and it's still like, there still is that thing, and I don't know if it has to do with TV being in your home, but there is some strange thing when people are like, I've seen you on the TV, and it still kind of happens.
But that now they also do it as I've seen you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where anyone can get on YouTube, but there's YouTube stars. That's really mind-blowing to me. And I watched some of the people that are gigantic on YouTube, and I don't get them at all because I don't watch every day, and I'm not 11.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I was 11, I would get some of this stuff.
And that seems like that's most of the audience. So even if they're like teenagers or young adults, early 20s, it seems like their audience is way younger than them who watches.
Because the YouTube stars are 23 at the most.
Like, do they cross over to TV though? Do they get a longer career out of it?
I haven't, like, the biggest guy, PewDiePie, he's the biggest one. He's on TV at all.
Right. But like, let's say Miranda Sings was like one that got popular, and then Seinfeld, got involved with her. She was on his show. Then I think she got maybe a Netflix series that I heard nothing about. I know it came out.
Either a series or a special was on Netflix.
Special, that's what it was.
Dude, Netflix is just grinding up material now.
Yeah.
More than ever. There's just so much of stuff that they're putting out.
Every Friday. And Chappelle was yesterday, Tuesday, but every Friday it seems with all their series every week now.
But yeah, you're right. With the stand-ups just going there, it just seems like, I remember the first comedy boom got destroyed because there were TV shows where you could watch stand-ups, right?
Yeah.
And people stopped going to the clubs. This could be the next thing because you're just getting special. You can't keep up with the amount of specials that come out on Netflix.
But what they did is really strange. Like, it's very rare for a company to like live through the change in technology. The fact that they started with a premise. By any other account, you'd go Netflix, then once DVDs were done, the fact that they were able to change and then start building series, it's just like, it's starting to feel like a bit unstoppable with them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for the stand-up comedy business.
Right.
This could, it could either make the clubs even bigger or hurt them tremendously, because why would you go out to a club if you've got 50 hours of Netflix that you're behind in? You know, I would always make the case that it's never as good on TV. But we made that case before, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
But then it could have the opposite effect where it's like, oh, because I've seen you on Netflix and now you're in my town.
Yes, yes, but that doesn't work for the clubs because you don't go back to the club anymore.
Right.
Dave Chappelle doesn't need a club. Right. You know what I mean? So, you know, Todd Barry was interesting where he bypasses the clubs just to play to his audience, even though he's not at a theater rate right now. So if that starts to happen, it's bad for the club business.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is. You just got to play the game the way it's played out. Right now, Netflix is holding all the cards. I mean, they just have, I can't, I don't know if too many of the shows are really good. I think Love is a good show, but what is another, like, great show?
Orange is the New Black. It was a Netflix original.
And that was hot for what, a minute?
I don't know. It's been
the first season was really big, and now it's like in its fourth season. And whenever the new season comes out, people are talking.
Yeah,
about it.
It's pretty big.
And they put them all out at the same time.
Yeah,
Stranger Things was a big hit for them, it was like an overnight thing where suddenly everybody was talking about it.
But let's have this prediction right now: Stranger Things 2. Are we going to be bitching about it?
Yeah, I think it's diminishing returns. I think that a lot of it was just like, it looked and felt so different. It was nostalgic, but not. And if there was something really cool about it, but I'm not sure that they can maintain
And there was
that.
no hype to it.
Right, exactly. So you had no reason
Because they had no idea it was going to be big.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
now, did we watch all those at the same time?
Yep.
I thought we waited on those.
No, we watched them all came all at once.
Yeah.
Man, that's weird.
Like, I think I had watched it within the first week, but a lot of people had finished it within the first weekend. So
some people just go straight through like maniacs. They're just
that's what I did.
Snorting meth and shows. I know what they do. They snort meth. They get that from Philly. It comes down from Philly.
They're bringing it in, and the heroin too.
My sister says that every single time we see her. Mm-hmm. It's all coming. It's getting bad.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's getting bad.
It's real bad.
They bring all that meth down. Methadone too. They bring methadone and they bring that heroin down. Everybody's on it now. Can't stand it. I wouldn't take it. we me and her the other night, we were talking about caretaking, and she's like, taking care of somebody in your family that's not feeling well. And she's like, it's really hard. And I go, no, it's not. It's easy. She's like, no, it's hard. I go, but it's easy. But no, she goes, it's not easy. It's hard. No, it's really easy. You don't have to really even do that much. It's hard. He's just over and over and over. And that's a bit we've been doing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know it's a bit.
No, she does not know it's a bit.
Yeah. And then she'll bring up some celebrities that are dating and who's at fault.
Yeah.
And I never know. What was the thing? Is it Jenny Slate had broke up with Captain America? Was that the ones?
Yes. Jenny Slate and Chris Evans were together, and then like dealing with the pressure of his fame got too much for her, where they were on different levels of like celebrity.
Can I tell you something? I'd be much more excited to see Jenny Slate somewhere than Captain America. I think she's fucking unbelievable.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not even sure that I would recognize Captain America. Like Jenny Slate, I'd see across the room and be like, dear God, there's Jenny Slate.
Right.
But Captain America is just like, you know what I mean? Like he's one of those like standard issue attractive guys.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not sure.
You said he's generic.
He's a generic dude.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I'm just saying
you're generic. I'm generic. Vito's generic.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's a fucking great looking dude.
I'm definitely not saying he's generic. I'm just saying I would look at him and go, oh, that guy's definitely a celebrity. Who is that? I know him from something. He's
You loved Hell or High Water, and he was amazing in that.
But he was also in the train movie that I hated, Snowpiercer, which also maybe not like him.
Yeah, but you play the part that you get. You're going to get shitty fucking roles, but you saw what he did with a good role.
Yeah.
And you thought he looked like a generic dude.
A generic actor dude, like a generic good looking fucking actor guy.
Here's the thing.
First of all, let's just say this: good looking is so rare that there's almost no such thing as generic good looking.
Yeah, particularly in men.
He looks like
it's
a
very
bachelor.
easy for women to be attracted.
I think he looks like a bachelor. Like he should be.
I don't see The Bachelor, and you know this. That's why you're using that against me.
Stop bringing up The Bachelor.
That's like 7 times
so
today. I've seen your Tinder profile.
It's like a bachelor situation, right?
The Bachelor and the Bachelorette.
But here's the thing. First of all, go to hit any of the pictures of her, Jenny Slate, who I think is crazy, fucking funny, talented.
She is.
But also crazy sexy and everything. I like it when her hair, I like it when she just lets her hair get fucked up.
Yeah, she gets a real Rosanna Dana look
I know,
with her hair,
and it's
I love
sexy
it.
as shit. See if she has an Instagram. I don't want to go through this because it's all different ages. I want to see what she's up to lately. Because I might have an Insta crush right here. But I do think it would be really tough to be with somebody who was super famous.
I imagine that it would be really difficult.
Look at her. She's fucking great.
And on top of that, you could say, okay, this person is either really famous or really attractive and this person chose me, and you could have all the confidence in the world about it. But then you go online or you pick up a paper at the supermarket, you just see why is he with this dud or something?
Oh, is
You're
that
just
right?
What the fuck?
Because she's not the,
right.
As Chris would say, generic good looking.
Exactly.
Well, what she said, one of the hardest things was at a CVS when women would come up to her and be like, man, Chris Evans is hot, isn't he? And she'd be like, that's my fucking boyfriend. You can't go up to somebody and say that about their boyfriend.
Yeah, you can. I get it. I mean, the thing is, when you've got his kind of fame, the Captain America kind of fame, you're kind of owned by the public, whether you like it or not, That's the deal.
Yeah.
Because those things, they're not great movies, but they're great marketing. And isn't he also Captain Kirk?
No, it's Chris Pine.
See?
Generic. Chris is right. All right, I'm losing this. I'm losing it. It's all falling apart.
Chris Pine's also a bachelor.
All right, so wait a minute. So what else does Captain America do?
He's doing Captain America movies right now. The last, he was in the only other movies I could think is Snowpiercer, not another teen movie.
Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, the early ones with Jessica Alba.
What did he do there?
He was Torch.
I thought he was, Chris is winning this fucking thing going away. Because I did not know, I thought he had the other guy's career, plus he did Hell or High Water.
No, I think. I think.
So he's not Hell or High Water?
Yeah, Chris I didn't see Hell or High Water, so I assumed he was in it too.
What is wrong with you, dude?
Chris
You act
Pine,
like you like movies. You didn't see the best movie last year.
Chris Pine was in Hell or High Water.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was Chris Pine. It wasn't.
So I'm completely confused about who I'm talking about.
Wait, Chris Evans was in.
Yeah, I would not know him to see him.
Let me see.
I would definitely
is
see him.
he Star Trek, Chris Evans?
No, Chris Pine.
Whatever side I'm on, it's the other side, Vito.
He was in the Michael Cera movie, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He was he
was great in that. Yeah, he was hilarious.
Chris Pine was?
No, come on, don't do this anymore. Chris Evans. He was the guy who was like, man, I got to go back.
Oh, yeah.
Sparked up one.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot what he called his trailer, but it was fucking hilarious name for it.
That was his best role.
All right, so she was dating the generic good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you didn't even correct me when I said that he was in Hell or High Water,
Because
right?
I fucking forgot, because I got mixed up too.
No.
Then you can't win this, Chris. You did lose still.
How do I still lose?
Because
if we're all confused as to who he is.
No,
because he's a generic good-looking man. Who also happens to be an actor.
Now you're pulling it back out again. Now it's starting to work. That does kind of make your case. Leila, Rochester.
Hello.
Yeah, what's up?
Hi. Love the show. Highlights my day.
Mine too.
Okay. I heard a song the other day that reminded me of Tinder Stank Stanley.
What song was that?
It's called Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry.
Love that song. And love the wedding.
Yeah.
The fucking redneck wedding where the woman came down the aisle to
It's
it.
the best thing that's ever happened.
I mean, I would not put this away from being eventually Chris Stanley's wedding.
I didn't see the wedding. I only heard the song.
All right, see if we can put this up on... Stop it, Chris. See if we can put this up on the Twitter thing so she can go and say it. We'll try to find it and put it up on Twitter.
And while I got you, when all those pictures you taken yesterday, now where do you post them?
They went on Instagram. It's Bennington
SXM. Bennington SXM on Instagram.
And then we should also have Twitter, connectors, or what is that called? With Twitter connectors. We're going to go Twitter connector. Well, so it'll be that easy.
Okay, and then with the soda cake. Soda bread.
Soda cake.
I wonder if they were 2 pounds apiece. Didn't you get a cranberry one, too?
That one was not even half the size.
Smaller. It was dumb.
Yeah, it was real. That was like a small
The rest of
disc.
the team enjoyed that last night.
Yes,
at a reasonable rate.
Exactly. We all enjoyed that one. And that one was like a Frisbee size and very thin and light and delicious. I'm sure the other one was delicious, but we did not get a chance.
Yeah, Chris's was
delicious at the beginning.
Twice as thick. He goes for girth every time.
Yeah.
Just like he does with his women. Hey, Steve, what's up?
That was a good call by the previous caller. Chris has definitely got a sleazy, Buck Cherry vibe.
Oh, yeah.
But, he does. I mean, right up the alley. But, at Jenny Slate, I feel the same exact way. And what got me on to her is that show Married. You watch that?
I don't think I've ever seen or even heard of this show.
Oh, it's very funny. It's on FX. She plays Paul Reiser's, much younger, wife, and she's kind of wild and crazy, and check it out.
I'm going to say
got me on the Jenny Slate. And she plays Betsy DeVos on Jimmy Fallon. And I didn't even know it was her. I asked my wife, who is this playing Betsy DeVos? And it's her. It's Jenny Slate. So YouTube that, too.
Yeah, we're going to YouTube everything.
We're going to find everything.
Well, Gail, you might have turned me on to her by that snail character that she played.
I'm Marcel, and I'm partially a shell.
It's so cute. Add that to your things now.
I use a Dorito to hand glide.
What are you handing me stuff for? What is this about, Chris? I am in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, we're doing Marcel, partially a shell.
Yeah, we just want to do it right now? Or do we have to go to break?
And we should go to break also.
Why don't we just go do this and get it out of the way, though?
Okay.
Oh, God, because I had to call ahead to the hotel that we're staying at to make sure I got Bull and Branch sheets.
Do they have them?
Yeah.
Thank God.
No, I don't even want to say this because I don't want to out the hotel. I don't think they put them on all the beds. But if you request them, they will.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to do this.
Yeah.
For some people, falling asleep can be just as hard as the work day that they put in. But it doesn't have to be. Great sleep starts with the right sheets, and they're more affordable than you think. Thanks to Bull and Branch. Bull and Branch sheets are crafted from 100% organic cotton. They feel incredible. They get softer over time and last for years. Bull and Branch sells exclusively online, so you don't have to pay that expensive retail markup.
Try them for 30 nights, and if you're not impressed, return them for a full refund. Anyone who sleeps on Bull and Branch sheets loves them. They have thousands of 5-star reviews. The New York Times, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal rave about them, and even 3 U.S. presidents have Bull and Branch sheets. Go to bowlandbranch.com today to get $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code COMEDY. That's $50 off free shipping right now at bowlandbranch.com, spelled B-O-L-L, and branch.com, promo code COMEDY.
Welcome back to the Bennington Show. Otto and George Unmasked up on iTunes. Make sure you go and check this one out and retweet it too. I'm always looking to see Otto's legacy to be out there. I mean, he was such a great guy and an unbelievable act, and all the comics loved him best. So it's up on the iBang or on iTunes. It's the Otto and George Unmasked. Tomorrow, we've got a crazy show for you.
We're going to be playing the demo to our
Just take it. Pre-playing?
We'll be playing
Why don't we, let's not pre-playing.
We're playing the demo to our new show on Volume, The Perfect Song, which has Greg Stone and Anthony DeVito on it. We'll be playing Street Jokes, which will have Joe List, Louis J. Gomez, Pete Lee, and Greg Stone. And we'll be playing the studio performance of Mateo Lane singing his songs from Barbra Streisand's album, Bonsoir.
Mateo Lane is in my ear. When is his show for that, though?
This Friday, so in 2 days.
I might not make it, but your mom and your aunt might be going to the show.
Oh, very cool. At Pangea.
At Pangea, having a real New York City night.
Have you been to Pangea?
I think I'm going to be at the Stand this weekend, right?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for barking that back at me.
You're welcome.
Just another generic guy. You've got a Gail Meets Girls up online.
Yes, it's at the Interrobang. It is a new episode with Brooke Arnold and Caitlin Bailey.
And during that episode, they are singing the praises of a certain comic.
They are. They absolutely are.
And I was hoping it would be me. But no, once again, it's Barry Crimmins.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Barry.
My nemesis.
Curses.
You know, Barry, everybody says what a wonderful person you are. Nobody ever says what a wonderful person Ronnie B is. They do say that I glare at them and it scares them.
I have some of that problem, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think they just say it because they scare them by glaring at them.
Yeah, you do.
You
can lock a look on somebody.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't cross Barry.
No.
Mm-mm.
Barry, when I look at him, I think there's a guy that owns the inside of the plate. He is not going to. He's not going to let you dig in on him.
Well, I was the catcher. You know, I mean, like as the hitter, I on the inside of the plate because what are they going to do? Hit me with a pitch? I get hit with 4 pitches every inning.
That's true. It's
like,
true.
oh no, they're throwing a fastball at me. Yeah, geez.
It is a terrible position to play.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. That's why I have the wavy lines coming off my knees right now. So, Gail, your new podcast is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. I really appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun doing it, and it's not an exaggeration. There is a lot of Barry Crimmins talk in the latest episode.
Always, yeah.
Well, here's my trick with women. I like them.
Yes, that's the starting point. I got to get around to that one day.
He does a great thing where he talks to you like a person.
Well, like my thing with women is like, let's talk about me. Am I doing everything right? Listen when I'm talking. Barry, where are you this weekend?
I'm out with Metzger and Brooke Arnold.
Oh, nice.
In Pittsburgh at the Club Cafe tonight. In Indianapolis at the White Rabbit Thursday night, and in Fort Wayne someplace on Friday. If you go to it's Fort Wayne. How hard can it be to find? I don't know.
How's our good friend Kurt Metzger? How's Kurt Metzger doing these days?
Oh, he's doing fine. He's got projects going, and it's always fun to go out with him for a while. Once in a while, he gets mad at me and he yells at me because he thinks I remind him of his father, and he starts yelling at me, and then he reminds me of my father. So
healthy.
It works out well.
But Metzger will write a script in an afternoon.
Yeah, I know.
Always amazing to me.
Yeah, I know. And be really hot on it for 3 days.
then on to the next script.
1,200,000 text messages later, just unbelievable. He hits send so often.
That would be like a great one-man play where you just read his text messages for like an hour and a half.
He's the man to do it. He gets the thumbs going there. I'll tell you that guy. So we're out. We're in the Midwest. I was in Toronto last week, as you guys know, because you helped me plug that. And so now we're plugging this.
Well, you're going to have a ball. You're a Midwest guy.
I'm sorry.
I said you're a Midwest guy. That's where you feel comfortable, I think.
Yeah, the Central Time Zone is my place.
Yeah.
The Trump state is where I like to live. Yeah, but it'll be fun, and I hope everybody comes out. And while you're down in Washington, if you could overthrow the government, I'd appreciate it.
Dude, why would I overthrow the best TV show I've ever seen in my life? This Spicer is on right now, and I'm just addicted to watching him.
Yeah, well, that's just a prequel to the overthrow. I mean, you know, we'll keep a camera on him.
But, I missed the Second World War, so this is kind of so much fun for me. You know what I mean?
To see it in real life, yeah.
I don't know why I thought of Fireside Theater. You so smart, who won a Second World War?
All right, Barry, good to talk to you, buddy, and enjoy this
Good to
tour.
talk to you guys. Thank you for the plug. April 2nd, we're at Hilarities in Cleveland, and then I'm at Moon Tower at the end of the month, and San Francisco at the Throckmorton and later in April.
Great. Well, we're going to see you for dinner at the Moon Tower. We're all getting together for dinner.
Okay, all right. You're held to that. You are held to that.
Yeah.
All right, but thank you for the sandwich. That's tiding me over.
Yeah, that was... Did we ever get around to talking about those Arthur Avenue sandwiches that Haas brought in?
I don't think we did on the air.
Oh, my God.
They were so good.
They were ridiculous.
I have been dreaming about that roast beef sandwich. I'm not going to waste my time with their Italian sandwich because I'm from Philly and I know what Italian sandwich is supposed to talk about. But that roast beef sandwich was out of this world.
It was super good. The bread was great.
And Gail was kind enough and thoughtful enough to remember to order me a vegetarian sandwich, which is very good.
I never think of other people's dietary needs. Yeah, it never dawns on me.
Like when you're like, we're going to go out for barbecue. And I was like, but Jen.
When I know Gail was like 4 weeks old and her mom was out and I just fed Gail stone crab for an hour and a half. And her mom was complaining about it. I go, she loved it.
Delicious.
She loved it.
And to this day, it's her favorite dish.
Yeah, and she walks sideways wherever she goes.
Stone crab and breast milk is actually my favorite combination. I don't know why.
All right. Talk to you later, Barry.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Love you. Bye.
Peace. I remember, like, the first night that you came home, your mom had eaten ginger snaps, and then you got freaky from the breast milk.
Yeah, that it was actually too spicy.
Yeah.
So it was like the breast milk turned spicy from the spice, like the cinnamon and ginger flavor in the cookie. And then it's like, I think she said it like my stomach like had a bad reaction to it.
It's terrible.
Because I was drinking ginger milk.
You were like yelling and shit. And like, I'll never forget, because we were very young when we had kids. Her mom even younger. Kind of a Jerry Lee Lewis thing going on, but I remember that we looked at each other. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We're like, I don't know if we can do this. Don't know if we're good enough to do this. And I remember my mom flew down and was with us for like a week or so. I was like, this is what you do. I'm like, okay. But is it going to be like that after you leave, or still hard?
I just had like a really intense baby dream that was like just wrought with, I suck at this and I'm terrible. And I went to visit a friend who actually, she did just have a baby, and her baby was like so petite and small and sweet, and her little girl was like sitting on her lap. And I had this boy who was just like a huge bruiser, and he just like kept falling down, and he had a black eye, and she's like, is he okay? And I was like, I have trouble controlling him. It was just like, and I was freaking out. He was like 3 times the size of hers, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Dude, I used to have reoccurring dreams when your mom was pregnant, and it's the only time I've ever had reoccurring dreams in my life. I've never had them before or since, other than when my chick was pregnant. But the baby would be so tiny, like could fit in your hand, right? And I would like cup my hands around the baby to keep it comfortable like this, and I could feel it jumping around like a Mexican jumping bean.
What?
And I would just be like freaked out. I'm like, I can't. And I would be so scared that the baby was trying to leap out.
Oh my God, that's really scary.
And I would like wake up like in a fucking movie, like where you just sit straight up, you're like sweating. The baby's too small. The tiny baby.
It's jumpy too.
The jumpy tiny baby. All right, I'm gonna send Vito down.
Okay.
This thing. You know what he's supposed to get?
Yeah, I'm gonna show them the exact package.
Vito, We've had a terrible day today, so don't fuck this up, though. Did you have something you wanted to plug, Chris?
Oh, so I was going to talk about the Thursday show. The show we got coming up tomorrow.
One of these packs or two of these packs?
Well, one will do me to go down and back.
So this is what it looks like. You want to just take it with you? So
Sure.
Yeah.
How long is he going to be? It's taking forever.
Vita, why aren't you back yet?
Oh, my God. You just said one of these.
One of those.
One, bruh.
I say bread like
Brad?
that.
One, Brad.
By the way, you don't need to back me up, Chris.
Just one, Vito.
But it's already
That's
being
his
done.
favorite thing.
It's already being done. You're not helping by doing that. You're just adding extra noise.
I feel like it always helps to reiterate things.
Doesn't.
No,
or else you would be able to do stuff.
Shit.
No. Someone wrote, did he eat Jen's sandwich because you weren't expecting him? No. You ordered two.
I knew that he was going to be here. And we knew we wanted him to stay for lunch. And I ordered 2 vegetarian sandwiches.
And Hosp is great at the Arthur Avenue sandwiches.
Yes, he is.
I wish he would get another shot at 101. He didn't have the experience he wanted to have.
I think he should definitely take a go at it again.
Maybe something else besides 101. Maybe something where you're not being attacked by judges.
Maybe featured on a Street Jokes.
That's too much.
Something in between this?
We never even thought about doing Street Jokes again, despite the fact that it was terribly successful. We're playing it tomorrow. You'll hear Street Jokes, and we love your feedback.
Yes.
On this because
We had a good time. It was fun in the room.
Yes. But Street Jokes was fantastic. You'll hear that. You'll hear the first time that we do Perfect Song. And also you'll hear Mateo Lane just belting out some numbers here. And we were super happy about that.
Really good show. Like a variety show that we have.
It was a variety show.
Yeah.
A variety of greatness, I like to say. And then we have Jen's giant suitcase.
Yes.
Freakish.
There's that thing when you jump on the back again.
I heard it.
What happened?
You just say freakish for no reason.
Well, it was a giant suitcase.
I mean, it's not freakish, is it, Chris?
It's freakish for a 23-hour trip.
Which guy was in the movie? That got to me, the fact that we couldn't figure out who either one of those were. Bothers me. Hollywood bothers me. I'm just about done with it.
Because there's a type, and Chris Pine and Chris Evans go into that type of the generic good-looking actor guy.
By the way, you keep saying 23-hour trip. It is not, correct?
It's not?
It cannot be.
There's a 25-hour. It's one or the other.
It's definitely not.
We get there at 8 o'clock, and we leave at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but don't you say the trip starts when you leave?
I figured
not when you arrive. Travel is included in the trip. My trip begins when I get on the train.
But you don't need your luggage for the trip. You need your luggage for when you arrive at the destination. That's when you're.
But I would never call that a 23-hour trip. I would never say I'm going to be. It's like the length of time you're away.
Yes, I was counting just the amount of time we're going to be there and in need of luggage.
And what's happening during travel? What do you call that time?
I don't know. In transit. That's what it is, Gail.
I guess you're right. It's freakish, son.
I don't think the marriage is going to work between you two.
You said this counseling would help.
I'm going to analysis.
I really think we need to do some one-on-one meetings. Because I can't talk around him.
It's 23 hours. Think about it for a second.
Honeymoon is over. Remember our honeymoon?
Oh, yeah. That was great.
A nice honeymoon period. They're like, we're going to be best friends and co-workers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got a DC match. This woman's way too attractive for me.
Let me say.
Invite her to dinner tonight. No, you should do that.
I didn't even read what's on her profile. I just looked at her face.
It's fake.
Yeah, she's saying out of her Snapchat.
Oh, that's a fake thing.
Yeah. That's sad that you even showed that to us.
But actually, I do want to see her Snapchat.
She could be your next Insta crush.
Amy Miller sent us something she said to watch on our train ride from me to all of you. It's just called Hi Stranger. It's been a while.
I will watch that on my train ride.
Some hump attacked Hell or High Water on us, says overrated crap.
Oh, no.
Here's what happens. A lot of people, I never saw that as a political movie, but Republicans saw it as an attack on the banks. So that came out that way. And it never even dawned on me that you're supposed to drag your politics into a fun, fucking made-up movie.
It's fucking modern-day Western.
Don't we all like when the cowboys rob the fucking banks? Isn't that fun?
Oh, I finally saw Arrival.
Oh, God, did you?
Yeah, it was fucking great. I feel like an idiot for shitting on it because of the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, I don't know why you read the Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
Why don't you just? Doesn't that ruin a movie for you?
It didn't ruin the movie for me because I was like really like wow, I thought it was great from the get.
But it does ruin the movie. Like maybe you don't mind having the movie ruined, but it does ruin the movie. If you read everything that happens in it, you've taken out the viewing experience entirely.
I haven't seen the other space movie with Chris Pratt and J-Lo in it, even though it's on demand. Just seems like to commit to a movie these days is harder than it is to commit to watching every episode of a TV show.
I know.
I have to be in a fucking right mindset to watch a movie. It's very strange.
I don't normally feel like I have I've got 2 spare hours here.
Yeah. I've done this before where it's late at night, I want to watch something. I could start an episode of a new show that I've been wanting to see, or I'll see a movie. I'll go, it's late, I'll just watch the episode, and then I watch 3 or 4.
I know.
And I'm
I
like,
do the same thing.
I could have watched 2 movies in this time. Why did I do this to myself?
Now, Liz Sets Fire says that Chris Pratt is the most attractive of all the generic guys.
I don't think he's generic because he has more personality than the other dudes.
When he lost his weight, he got generic.
Yeah, he became...
Like, he's not funny like when he was bigger. When he was bigger, I thought he was fucking hilarious. But he allows himself to be the quiet movie guy now.
Yeah, and
movie star guy.
If you didn't know him as a bigger fella from his show, and you just saw this guy, you would put that in what you call a generic status. Yeah. It's just like the jaw... The 5 o'clock shadow.
Which of his movies have you seen, Chris?
I've seen Jurassic World.
And you like that?
Not really. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
And you like that?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
That not really is not the thought of it's not a thought of a movie critic. Jen, you know who the attractive guys are. Where do you put Chris Pratt?
I would put him on the bottom, honestly. I don't find him that attractive.
Look, I'm telling you, he's done this show twice. He's a very attractive guy, charismatic guy, fun guy. And he can rap. He went over on the Shade Show, and I think the kids call it spit. You spit?
Spit a rap.
Spit some bars.
Yeah, good. All right, good. I didn't know whether I was, coming across the wrong way.
No, sounds great.
But they liked him. Maybe he could be one of those white people that black people love.
Invited to the cookout.
Yeah, I never heard that phrase, so I want to be careful with it.
Yeah, it was a phrase that was kind of going around the internet. This person is invited to the cookout, and it was like black people saying this white person is down.
Yes, I could get it immediately. I just didn't know whether it was an offensive thing to say, particularly, when we're all on the edge right now. Oh, by the way, speaking of stupid things that the internet was into, did you see that when the judge was up yesterday, Congress asked him whether he would fight 1 duck-sized horse or 100 horse-sized ducks.
Why did this happen?
No, wait, just the opposite. 1 horse-sized duck or 100
duck-sized horses.
100 duck-sized horses.
Why was this asked?
Because we live in a stupid fucking world, and we're all stupid now.
I think the judge said, my family keeps texting me. I think that was what he was fucking
saying. And then everybody was saying, this is hilarious. I go, it's hilarious to people who haven't been on the internet in the last 4 years.
It's depressing.
Plus, it's an easy answer. You fight the one opponent every single time.
Yeah, you just get overrun by
You don't want to fight 100 of anything. Yeah. You want to fight 1.
Yeah,
then you can have a strategy.
Yes, you can have a strategy, and then you can outsmart that thing.
Right.
But you're not gonna, then you have to outsmart 100 little things. That sounds way more difficult.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Goddamn horde.
So I wish the judge would have came up with that answer. He would have certainly gotten my vote. Right now, I'm still waiting to see how everybody else votes, and then I'll vote that way. But doesn't it annoy you when people Not only that they're so late to the party with something and they still expect the same kind of fucking laugh.
Yeah. Because it's just going to sound outdated. It's like, what kind of bling do you like? Nobody's saying that anymore.
Platinum.
What? Oh.
All right. Vito has something to talk about, and
You sent him away.
I thought he was going to send an intern.
I think
he wanted a little time for himself to get out there.
I'm not sure. I think he felt like you asked him specifically because you trusted him.
No, not at all. Jen, what are we going to do with you about food tonight? Are you forced to go to a different restaurant than us?
No.
Because I can't look over and see somebody eating sides while we're eating real food.
I mean, I'll have fish.
She's a pescatarian,
Yeah,
at least that.
No, you're wasting your time with fish. Get something good.
Some beef.
Is Don picking this up tonight?
Yeah, Don picked this up. This will be.
So have you got some places, did you already make a...
I got a couple of options for us.
Well, what are we waiting for?
All right,
discuss.
Just write them down, though, because I don't want to, Vito, there you are. Before we get to anything... Yeah, don't make a big deal out of it, Vito. Did you get one or two?
One.
What?
Why one?
Two.
No, we said one.
Yeah, we also said bring me change. Was this exactly $20? Vito, take a mic over there, would you? What was the thing that you and Disco Dan had yesterday in the bathroom?
All right, so I'm coming from what we were doing yesterday. I see Dan, and I go, hey, we got to talk. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Hold this for me. Dan proceeds to go, I need to show you something. Follow me into the bathroom.
Well, you didn't have the mic on?
Everybody worked on.
Come on, dude. Are you fucking running this or not?
I am.
So Dan goes, I'm going to follow you into the bathroom. And I go, Dan, please don't follow me into the bathroom. And he goes, I need to show you this. I walk into the bathroom. I go to pee. I think he's going to tell me something. Instead of telling me something, he walks over while I'm peeing, wraps his hand around the front of me while I pee, and shows me a picture.
Of what?
Of a screenshot of Craig Ferguson on the Today Show and him in the background.
Well, first of all, that's exciting.
But he didn't need to show me in my face while I was peeing and put his stomach on my back while I peed.
What are you, an infant girl? You're a man. You can pee and fucking look at something.
But the things he was yelling while people were in the stall were, come on, man, look at it. And I just need you to look at this for a second.
It should just look
I like the idea of his stomach pressed on his back.
Well, he's only. But what did you have to pee like a child? You couldn't just looked at something.
I said, but he could have waited 2 seconds for me to get done from the bathroom.
When you wait to change the world, okay, things aren't going to get better. You got to change yourself. This one looks good.
Top?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went there a couple years ago.
We enjoyed it?
Yes, we enjoyed it.
But why do we want to go back to the same place over and over?
No, that's just one option.
That isn't an option.
Okay, that's
It's
no
not
option.
an option if you do the same thing.
Done. Never again.
I'll never say never.
What?
And what is this, the farmer's place?
That's the place we tried to get into last time, but I fucked up the reservation.
Oh, God. I feel like you should be in charge of... Why wouldn't you put the girls in charge of where we get the food? When you know that you fuck up.
I should have.
By the way, there's the thing. Do any of you guys have an OCD thing at all?
I have some OCD, but not
bad?
Not terrible.
You either? There's a piece up on the iBank today. Do not watch this if you have an OCD, is the name of it.
Yeah, so it's like parody of, there's like these kind of videos where like things happen perfectly and it's supposed to be stimulating to people who have OCD.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it'll be like something cut perfectly or, like something being very even. And this video is like a counterpoint to that. And it's like stuff that should be done normally getting all fucked up. Like this opening piece is someone cutting a cake, but just chopping at it, not doing it evenly.
So we don't have one person here that has the OCD thing that this would bother.
I definitely like things balanced, but I wouldn't say I'm terribly obsessive about it.
The cake got to me.
The cake bugs you?
The cake got to me because I serve cakes at fucking work on the weekends, and that was just like, why.
Well, here's one. They're just pouring Skittles and M&M into the same thing. And why would that bother people? Because they don't like the
Because imagine
mix.
biting into that.
like getting both.
I'm getting a lot more worked up than I thought. I
Here's one. The guy just using. Look, this is making.
This is nice.
He's using a ruler and a pen, and that's easy.
Yep.
And
Setting it up
he's making perfect lines all the way through.
Oh, no.
Slight mistake. That bothers you, Vito?
Well, no, I just don't. But it's a ruler. It's really simple.
All right, tearing what do you call it?
Paper towel. Someone making a Zen garden.
No, that's not Zen at all.
Why? Because he's not doing properly?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's just interesting that people just find that shit, like, really stimulating to begin with. Like, people watch those to, like, relax.
Sometimes I can relax. Here's a guy who really, this one bothers me because he can't cut a fucking tomato properly.
He's turned it on the wrong side, and he's cutting it improperly.
He's just like the guy in the beginning of infomercials.
For some people, falling asleep can be as hard as the work day they just put in, but it doesn't have to be. Great sleep starts with the right sheets, and they're more affordable than you think, thanks to Boll and Branch.
Boll and Branch sheets are crafted from 100% organic cotton. They feel incredible, get softer over time, and last for years. Boll and Branch sells exclusively online, so you don't pay for that expensive retail markup.
Try them for 30 nights, and if you're not impressed, return them for a full refund. Anyone who sleeps on Boll and Branch sheets loves them, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews. The New York Times, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal rave about them, and even 3 U.S. presidents have had Boll and Branch sheets.
Go to bollandbranch.com today and get $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code COMEDY. That's $50 off plus free shipping right now at bollandbranch.com, spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com, promo code COMEDY.
Welcome back to Bennington. Adam Ferrara's in studio.
Hello.
Yay!
Good to be back. I had to get you before the trip tomorrow.
Adam's performing at Levity Live in West Nyack, New York tomorrow night.
Yep.
Thursday, March 23rd through Sunday, March 26th. Go to levitylive.com for tickets. And he'll be guest starring on Criminal Minds on CBS Wednesday, March 29th.
Sweet. Yeah. What's your part about?
I play a father of a kid that gets abducted.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So that's a lot of laughs when you got to commit to that emotional state. But so I get the gig, right? I go home and you start reading the script. And, you do your stuff. But here's what I figured out is, and to get to where you got to get to emotionally, because it was part of the scene, the guy breaks down in the FBI office. So I just actually had to break down. You got to go past that little, the little governor switch that makes you a comic.
Right.
You know, when our spidey sense goes off and there's tension in the room, you make a joke and that relieves everything. Like, ha-ha, you can't get me. So I had to go past that to get to where I had to get to. And that's not the problem. It's coming back.
Sure.
That's when it's getting myself back together. That's when Chaz Palminteri's in my head going, now you can't leave.
Yeah, right.
And all the monsters come out.
Yeah, who wants to put that thought? I mean, because that's the nightmare. That's the nightmare.
Yeah.
That's always the scariest. Any kind of movie or TV show that has that in it, it freaks me out.
But also, just think in real life, when that happens, they naturally think the father first.
Yeah.
Cops, if something happens to the wife or the kids, the first suspect is the father.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah, father and the mother, and the Jean Benet, they're still like, they did it.
They did it.
There were no footprints. How'd they get in the house? Yeah. But everyone's got it. You got to eliminate them first. But.
Now, you had to go to that spot. Now, do you make that up, or do you have a memory of something horrible that can make you break down?
You go to, you figure out how you got to get there, and then you got to make it real. So, you think of, I don't have kids, and this is the reason why.
Right.
Someone's going to take the little bastards, and I can't deal with it.
Sure.
So, but just to get to that place where you break down, I found a memory that helps you break down. And then once you get there, you got to be able to do it on cue, so that's the hard part.
Yeah, especially
keep the motor. That's the hard part, is keeping the idol revving until they need it,
Especially when you're the guest star, because you're not.
You're getting one take.
Yeah.
That's it.
And everybody knows each other for years, so if one of them has a problem, it's like, we know he can do it.
Yeah.
But you're like, why is this guy here?
Lunch is coming.
Yeah.
The first drama summer thing I had to do was on Law and Order, and we shot it here at Chelsea Piers. And it's 8:30 in the morning. I had to be in a hospital bed, and I had to cry again. Right, so I'm in the hospital bed, and I was upstairs. I was smoking, and me and Jesse Martin were on the building having a cigarette at Chelsea Piers at 8:30 in the morning. And he looks at me, takes a drag of his cigarette, and goes, "Boy, I don't envy you having to do this acting shit early in the morning." Because they said that, you know, the Law and Orders, they come in, people do the acting around them. You know, the regulars come in and to collect the information and stuff in a procedural.
So the pressure's on.
Yeah.
And you got to deliver.
Take.
Yeah. Or else you become as known as the guy who didn't deliver on this big show.
But, you know, and you're lucky to get it. And,
yeah.
And fortunately, I know enough to that, okay, when is it, to what the shot is, so you don't burn it in the master.
Right.
They shoot the master first, then when they come in for your close-up, you get 2 takes of that, and you're done. And I learned with Leary, so Dennis, you're getting 2 takes no matter what happens.
Yeah.
There's a helicopter. Ain't on my coverage. You know? Thank you. So that's trial by fire when we shot with Dennis, because we were quick. You know, we had to be really quick.
Now, what was it about that show that you had to go fast? Is because it was FX or just the way Dennis works?
No, it was the way, a lot of it was the director was the only thing that changed every week on that show. Mm-hmm. And we would do 2 episodes at a time. So he would storyboard 2 episodes. So we would shoot all the apparatus floor stuff on that location. We would shoot all the fire stuff on location. And we'd shoot all the bunker room stuff. So you're shooting 2 or 3 scenes from different shows.
Oh, I would never know where I was. I would only be I would have to do it like a play. Like it starts.
That's hard too. I did a play. I did a little run at the Abington Theater, and that's front lines. I mean, there's some old lady. First of all, you know it's a matinee because the whole place smells like Ben Gay. And you know, and there's some ladies unwrapping candy. She's looking through a bag. I'm like, phones are going off. And
right.
That's really.
Well, that's always the funny thing. Like even with Broadway, they think you like a sophisticated New York audience, but there are so many tourists there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just the New York Times reviewing.
But I do think that when you're on stage, because when the lights go down in the audience and the light comes up, you can kind of put yourself anywhere. Whereas I think acting in front of a camera is like, it's shocking to me that people can do it.
Really?
That I think it's incredible because I think that it's going to be the most self-conscious thing.
A camera
like a lens is very.
Well, it's self-conscious because you're going for. It's not like you can just be. You know,
right.
Going for real. I mean, one of the best things we shot one scene. Me and I was on Nurse Jackie, and the camera was a diner scene. So me and Edie are sitting back and forth, and the camera's outside. And that was great.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't see it. It was just outside. They were shooting through the window. Yeah. And that was the first master. So we had, you know, the tone of it.
Now, is it easier to do it with somebody as great as Edie, or is it easier when you're the best actor on the set?
I always like to work with someone better than me. Because, you know, you got to rise up to this stuff. Because you get lazy. You know, you get lazy if you're not being pushed and you're not connected to, you know, someone like she was. First scene we did, we were driving in the car. Like I had to ask her out on a date. So I played a cop. So she's in a cop car and we're driving, and I ask her out, and she's got this brilliant smile. And she's smiling at me during the whole scene. And even though we're in a scene, the little guy in my head's going, "You're doing great with this girl."
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
I was like, "Oh, I'm killing it."
Yeah, I'm always amazed at, and I always think that they're very best actors, even when they come in here, that they just lock in on you. Yeah. And you're just like, and even if it's a guy, you're like, I think I'm going to be best friends.
Yeah.
With this dude.
It's that part of them that does, and where stand-up is different, because stand-up, you're taking them on the ride. You're like winking. You're like, come on, we both, you know, you're not really snapping.
And you have to wonder, is that also somebody who has the ability, and it's not even phony, it's just an ability to connect with that, where you're like, I'm going to play the part of someone in this moment. And I'm going to play the part of somebody who's going to have a connection. I'm going to play the part of someone.
A great salesman. Like they always said, Bill Clinton could make you feel like the only person in the world. And they say about Trump, if you're one-on-one with him, your attitude towards him changes completely.
Really?
Yeah, that when he's a great salesman, so he knows how to do that thing to make you feel like you want to make that decision that's going to benefit him.
I do want to make money with you.
No money down, and we're spending someone else's money on this hotel? Where the hell have you been all my life?
Yes, I love you. But those you know, occasionally you will run into charismatic people in real life, but I think that the English actors, and I don't.
And they sound like me?
Yeah.
How great is that?
Yeah. Those dudes have an ability to lock in like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, now they all do the American accent. No one did that.
And they
when
do it
were
great.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're watching Big Little Lies right now, and the couple, which I can't think of his name, but it's Nicole Kidman, and they're both foreign, and you can forget that constantly.
Jen knows who that dude is because she watched the other show. The guy from Big Little Lies. What?
Oh yeah, Alex Skarsgård.
Yes.
And what else did he do?
He was in True Blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
The vampire guy.
That's got to be hard being a vampire. Your work hours are just
terrible.
Villanova got knocked out of the Final Four, and I had them win the ball because I played Villanova.
Yeah,
and they were. I go on stage and there's a giant cross in the backdrop.
Yeah,
and my opening line was, "You guys have a tremendous vampire problem." And someone got cross. There was a big fat priest in the front row laughing his ass off. I went, "All right, I'll be all right."
That's a beautiful school.
Isn't
that
it?
whole area
Yeah.
is just fantastic. And, they're all so depressed now that they're not, because they weren't going to win 2 years in a row, were they? I mean, why, how could that have happened? What was the football thing you were bringing up today?
Oh, in free agency in the NFL, that running backs are getting like no cash, and then guys like
expendable. Adrian Peterson can't get a job.
Yeah, or Jamal Charles. Like, they're just on the bench. No one's picking them up. No one's interested.
Also, when you hit 30, when you're done. Your knees are done. Your hips are done.
And that's the most poorly paid position.
Compared to what it used to be
that way.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's the only one. Make your cash now, baby.
Yeah. Because the game has changed where someone's going to throw the ball on third.
They wanted more scoring. The offense was more exciting. With the ratings would build up. So that's why all the defensive rules came in, and people want to see you throw the ball. They don't want to see you, but you still need a running game to make that game work. And it doesn't matter what you need. The Jets don't have it.
Right.
So that's an abusive relationship. The Jets. I'll change. Take me back.
Yes.
And they never change.
They never change.
Yeah.
And you would think that just every once in a while they would get it right, but it's been a long time.
68.
Yeah, 68. But at least you got one. If you're an Eagles fan, you don't have any. 51 years.
Yeah.
And a football town
You're
like that.
You're an Eagles fan?
Yeah. That's the way I grew up. And I don't think you get a chance to switch. I'm not a person who thinks, I've moved, so I get to switch.
No, I think it's in your blood. See, here's my thing. My dad was a Giants fan.
Yeah.
But in the second grade, I did a book report on Joe Namath. And I was like, oh, he is so cool.
Dude, I did a book report on him too.
Yeah, you did?
Yes. Every kid for 10 years did because you would always you got to do a book report. You go looking for a sports book.
Yeah.
But Namath, and I remember reading, he has a pinball machine in his penthouse.
Yes, and he made him buy them a Lincoln Continental to sign with the AFL.
Yeah.
He goes, they gave him like $300,000. It was on that Showtime special, Full Color Football.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, what else did you want? Well, I need a car. What? Lincoln Continental.
Yeah.
And I went, is this guy smooth?
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
He got loaded and tried and kiss Susie Colbert on TV.
Yeah, and then everybody acted like that was terrible. I'm like, that's Namath, man. Even he I'm sorry for what I did. I go, no. Keep doing shit like that.
Well, he was like,
look, maybe I need some help.
Yeah, that's what I think he straightened out after that.
Yeah,
but all those guys, they got the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, he's got no knees left.
He had no knees left when he was with the Rams. And, so he took I was reading in the book, he took the speed at halftime and they were drinking because they were in pain.
Well, he also had a knee injury in college, right?
At Alabama.
And that's back when they didn't know how to do the ACL surgery and shit like that. You were just on your own. It healed how it healed, and then you just do your best.
And you walk like a wiffle ball. You just keep making the curve.
Walk like a wiffle ball is great.
Adam Ferrara is in studio. Adam's performing at Levity Live in West Nyack, New York. Tomorrow night, Thursday, March 23rd through this Sunday, March 26th. Go to levitylive.com for tickets. On Twitter, it's at Adam Ferrara, and he'll be guest starring on Criminal Minds on CBS Wednesday, March 29th.
As much as you're on the road, sports must be a necessity.
Football is, I get so depressed after football. Depression just sits in. But football to me, that's like, I listen to the podcast,
right.
Oh, I do everything. It's a giant distraction. I'm so happy. I plan my flights. I don't do Sundays during football season, and if I do, I got to take JetBlue. So they know me. They know me at the terminal.
Right.
They yell at me on a plane. They go, "Sir, this is people are getting upset." I go, "I don't blame them. You're running the ball on 3rd and 8," and I'm screaming.
JetBlue, you can watch on the as you're traveling, right?
JetBlue and Virgin. JetBlue's not on every flight, and Virgin America it's on every flight. But sometimes you get it on Delta, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's not live TV. It's like whatever they got on there.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm watching, The Fall Guy. This is what I got to watch.
The Fall Guy.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell is you got available to me.
But
Pride and Prejudice with zombies. I get that over Kansas.
But you can get, if you get a football game, then you're somewhere else. Well, instead, you're not on a plane. You're at the game.
I'm at the game. And do you go to games?
Yeah.
Last game I went to, I was in a press box. I was in the owner's box. It was great. And it's nice to be there, and I went with a friend of mine who got us in. But I'm like, I'd rather be home. First of all, there's no parking. It's my own bathroom. Right. I'm not next to this parole hearing next to me with this guy screaming. It's just like, I'd rather be home. I got instant replay, I get different angles and stuff. And
I feel the same way, and I don't need to have a lot of people watching the game. A lot of people feel like 8 of us should get together. Somebody's always talking about something other than the game.
Yeah.
Now, do you do Red Zone?
I wanted to, yeah. Oh, yeah. The best 15 minutes is right before the 4 o'clock is the 1 o'clock game. The best 15 minutes of the day is right before the 4 o'clock game. And I want to be by myself. I don't want to hear so I don't know what to tell Lori. Tell her she's cheating on you. Get your life together. I got money on this. So. Yeah. That's the best part of it.
Yeah. But it's true. If you put even a few bucks on anything, the level of intensity goes up like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
When people go, I don't understand a sport, I go bet on it. Yeah. Any sport that you bet on, you will learn so much about.
It heightens your awareness.
Yes. If you got $25, don't. Because winning $25.
It's not even that.
Yeah.
I'll put half a yard on the Sunday night game just to even if it's just a lousy game, come on, Jacksonville. Who cares? People in Jacksonville aren't even watching.
That's true.
I never understood, I was never really into gambling and didn't really appeal to me until I did it with
a kid's life.
Until I did, went to a horse race. And then I was like, holy shit, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It was like the most thrilling thing, and every time the season comes around, I have to go to it at least once.
We used to bet Roosevelt on Long Island. I grew up on Long Island, and they had the Trotters at Roosevelt, which is that's as crooked as a wiffle ball fastball too.
100%.
So we would know who would finish in the money. I'm not going to tell you how.
Right. Yeah.
But you would get paid. You get paid. Win places show. So we'd bet everything across the board. We could narrow the field. I'll tell you that. So that was great when the Trotters were on at Roosevelt. Now it's a mall. But then that's I remember Patterson was a jockey, and what you're right, your awareness gets heightened.
Yeah.
And it was the most crooked. You could see the guy yanking the horse.
Yes. You could see him pulling back. There used to be the Brandywine racetrack where I was, and it was Trotters. Yeah. And then a guy would be winning, and you just hear him announce he broke his trot. You're like, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't break his trot. He did it so they wouldn't break his legs.
Right. But that sport, it's so nice because you're spending a day outside. You have you got the paper.
Your hangover's gone by the second race.
And the excitement level only lasts so long. You know what I mean? It's not like a basketball game where you're like waiting. It's all excitement and then it breaks.
You get that adrenaline spike. You give yourself temporary Tourette's where you're cursing.
Yeah.
And then you're back for the next
day. And you feel good about the next race.
But
I feel
it's
good.
The future.
You were saying too, you've got the paper, you're outside. Just like any addictive thing, the ones with the most amount of ritual seems to be, you know what I mean? You have the paper in your hand, you place your bets, and you go to your spot, whatever that thing is. Particularly if you're somebody who's like, this is my lucky thing.
Right.
It's like that all gets tied into
I still gotta wear the sweater.
Exactly.
It's August. You look like a fool. Shut up. Let me rub your head.
You walk through the paddocks and all too, which is really great. And then all of a sudden you're like, I just see that horse.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a reason why I'm here now.
Connection.
Leah looking face to face with this horse.
Yeah. I want to feel like I know.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm connected to something bigger than look at these life forms.
Yeah.
They don't know.
But the universe has put me here for one moment. But Chris, you grew up at the track, right? Your dad?
Oh yeah, my parents would take me to Belmont.
Yeah.
Most weekends, and it was like the few good memories I have of them just being at the track with my family.
But then you, really, that was pleasant. That was like,
it was great. Yeah. It was a good time.
And you started betting at what age?
I probably still, like, maybe as a kid, they were like, hey, what do you like? What do you want to bet? But, like, gambling, probably like a senior in high school, junior in high school.
Yeah. And now
and that's when they were still OTBs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd be able to,
there was one across from War Women High School. It was an old bagel nosh. So it had the round windows. And we used to sneak in because if we're going to pay to book at the car wash, we couldn't get, we were kids. Sometimes we'd take it, sometimes it wouldn't pay us. So we're like, look, the city's a better risk.
Yeah.
I'll pay the juice to the city. I'll pay the 10% on a win to the city. My parents, when I was working at the mall and we were betting the Trotters, I had cash under my bed. It was cash, there was comedy albums and the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Because I figured that's what I needed if the bomb goes off. Right?
Yeah, right.
And I had a new leather jacket because I had money coming in. And my mother found the pile of cash under my bed because, she was dusting. So she told my father and Joe, he's selling drugs. They didn't know. And my father was, where'd you get this money? You selling drugs? I'll break. I go, I'm getting tips on the horses. And my father got so angry. You're getting tips on horses. You don't even tell your own father. What kind of animal did I raise? And so, he found it. And I told him, and I gave him a tip that I got. It didn't come in. He's like,
Yeah, that's what always
you're
happens.
on your own.
Fucked up.
When someone tells you I got the perfect tip, it's amazing how little that works.
No.
Amazing how
but we didn't we just knew that this guy's not finishing in the money.
Right.
So if you bet it across the board, you bet and win places show, you're going to get paid.
Right.
We just had our odds were increased. We didn't have the actual answers.
Uh-huh.
What
comedy albums did you have under your bed?
Oh, the big one was Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie's Richard Pryor. I had all Richard Pryors. And they were cassettes too. George Carlin. I had the 2,000-Year-Old Man, Mel Brooks.
That's unbelievably funny.
Don Rickles Speaks.
Oh, that's great.
Remember, it was a vinyl thing.
Yeah.
And if you listen to it, it's not that funny, but his rhythm is what gets you. Yeah. It's like when you connect with an actor, you're there, so it really doesn't matter what he's saying. His rhythm was just so good. It was like a little press conference, and he was answering questions, but it wasn't any jokes or anything, but it was.
Did you ever see Rickles work?
Yeah, I worked with Rickles at Montreal Comedy Festival, the Saint Denis Theater.
What was that like?
It was great.
Yeah.
I got a picture of me and Rickles, and I killed, and he hugged me. He hugged me at the end. He goes, you're going to be a big star, and I'm going to have to say shit like, well, can we get him on the phone?
Yeah.
And everyone was around laughing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And he whispered in my ear, he goes, remember what I told you? He smacked me in the ass, and he walked away.
That's got to be one of the greatest things
that was
ever happened
great.
to you. Yeah.
That was great. Him, I opened for Pryor. I don't know. I opened for I met Pryor.
Yeah.
I opened for Carlin at the Comedy Magic Club. He was warming up for his last special, and I get a call because I was supposed to headline that weekend. And Mike commented, he said, listen, he's got to move your weekend. He's got to bump you. But he said, if you want to open, you can. I'm like, and right away the ego kicks in. Open? What friggin' sword swallow is bumping me? Yeah. I ain't opening for nobody. Who do you want me to open for? George Carlin. Does he need a ride?
Yeah.
I'll pick him up.
Yeah.
So I did. The MC went up. I did a half hour. I walk off the stage, and it's like a little theater, and the wings are right there. And there's this little guy with a silver beard. And he went, you're funny. And I went, and you're Carlin.
Yeah,
and
right.
I shook his hand, and we just started bullshit because he grew up in Morningside Heights. Right here, and I read one of his books, and I just started bullshitting with him, and he remembered a joke I had about Dick Clark. Goes, that was funny, and I'm sitting there like, it's an out of body experience because it's Carlin telling you you're funny, and he missed his intro. People started, goes, is that me? I go, it ain't me, George, and he went out. And I had to do 2 nights with him. So I was like on cloud 9. I told my wife, George Carlin watched my set. He thought I was funny. Oh my God. He said, he'll see me tomorrow night. And then it clicked in. He'll see me tomorrow night. I got to do a whole different set. I can't do the same shit. I don't need this pressure. Fucking Carlin. So I went home with my notebooks, and me and my wife were at the hotel, and we started playing this game called Honey, Is This Funny? So I put a whole nother set together.
Why? Because he did the same set, though, because Carlin...
Yeah, but he was working on something.
Yeah, his stuff was always so precise.
Yeah.
That's
so
what he said,
precise.
because I don't improvise, I memorize.
Yeah.
Because he writes, he's a mechanic. He's a word mechanic.
And I didn't not know that about him until years later. I saw him twice, once when I was just a kid with you, and then once in college. And it was like, it felt so in the moment. Not that, of course, not that, that it was coming off the top of his head, but I didn't realize that like every breath was timed out, and the pauses and the inflection would have been the same if I would have been anywhere else and saw him.
Yeah. He was like an actor and a director and a producer and a writer. And what's crazy now at the end of his life to see how much material is out there.
Yeah.
But that, well, you brought up Morningside Heights. There's a George Carlin Way up there now, where the street. that he grew up on. And I think there's a big church at the end of it. So when you go up there, you just see, you can picture little George Carlin playing in this neighborhood. It overlooks Harlem. It's a really cool place in New York. And then just see a massive church, which was the big push off for him when I was a kid. And he was the first guy that I ever heard talk about the Catholic Church. It was mind blowing.
He said, I used to be a Catholic, you know, and then I reached the age of reason. You know, you grow. Yeah, though that was it. He was like, I'm like, you can say something.
Right.
You're allowed to say something.
Yeah.
Those guys gave, like, those comedy albums, like, gave you permission. It gave me permission to think a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly the guys that you mentioned, you know, Pryor. I mean, it's hard for people to understand comedy Pryor. And that's why, you know, people always go back. They go back to him and George. But Pryor's stuff, you were just like, are they going to arrest him? Are they going to take him away? You know what I mean?
But just the emotion, the pathos, just watching, he could break your heart. And just, that really just moved me. I remember when I was a kid, I saw the Santa Monica concert on a VCR. I went to one of those parties you go to with your parents. You know, where your mother warns you in the car? Yeah. Now, your father does business with these people. Don't behave like a fucking animal. So they were watching that special, and then it went to the kitchen for coffee. I rewound the tape, and I was a kid. I was 11, 12 years old. And I remember watching it and just looking at it and saying out loud to nobody, look what this man can do. He didn't even have an introduction. He walked out and grabbed the mic and just started talking. I mean, it was just amazing how he held that audience in his hand. And the bit specifically where he wasn't saying anything was the black guy walking through the woods and a white guy walking through the woods. And just the snake, just that bit. And then I went, oh my God. I didn't know I wanted to be a comic, but I knew something profound was happening.
Right. And I love that stuff when he would be like, this is how white guys walk. And I'm just like, shit, I never realized. You know what I mean? I never realized. But I do have a stick up my ass. There's no doubt about it.
Adam Ferrara is in studio. Adam's performing at Levity Live in West Nyack, New York. Tomorrow night, Thursday, March 23rd through this Sunday, March 26th. You go to levitylive.com for tickets. And he'll be guest starring on Criminal Minds on CBS Wednesday, March 29th. And on Twitter, at Adam Ferrara.
Now, that's a cool place too, Levity Live.
That's great. Yeah, I've been in many times. It's it's in the corner of the mall, and it's really like a big theater. It's really
it's really
and
like
the food is excellent.
Is that right?
Yeah, food's good.
People always have to tell me because I never trust food. I'm always like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like comedy club food, you know. Like, well, we have fried this or fried that. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, but you can't get that because you're working here. You're the carny trash.
Right. Well, they would always do a thing. I always remember in Florida, it was always after Bobby Woods was there. Because they would say you could have all the drinks you want. And then the next day we went back. Bob Woods was here last week. You get one drink.
Get one drink. Yeah.
And you eat out of the corner. Yeah. It's the corner of the menu. But he would crush these places.
Yeah, Bobby was. Yeah. I can't believe him. Remember, he got in a fight. He said goodnight off Mr. Rips in Valley Cottage. Remember that old dump? So he was on stage. He goes, "That's my show." And the guy was heckling him. "That's my show. Now I'm going to kick your ass." Yeah. And he dove off stage and started beating the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. He was, I wonder if Crimmins knew him because they were like.
Barry?
Yeah, Barry Crimmins and him. I don't know whether they know each other.
Barry's a Boston guy.
Yeah, he was a Boston guy. And
was he in here recently?
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah, I saw him in Montreal. We had breakfast together. He's a really nice guy.
He's fantastic.
And a courageous son of a bitch, too.
Right. But those were the guys that kind of trained people on how to be an audience.
Yeah.
But Woods was this really big, burly guy, and he could do a Gleason that was incredible. And he looked like Captain Kangaroo the whole time.
He did.
Yeah.
He looked like a mad scientist. He had the white hair and the... And he was living in his car for a while.
Oh, yeah.
They went to... Vinnie Mark, I think it was Vinnie Mark. One of the comics was he was driving him home, and he got into his car, and he just looked at him. He goes, "You want to come in for a while?"
Yeah.
He lives right there.
He just there was a great Woods thing. He goes into a club, and they had put up the newspaper thing, Bobby Woods, 3 nights, blah blah blah, and he came in a rage. Because he never wanted to be advertised because he had an ex-wife that was looking for money. Don't you ever put my name on a marquee in a newspaper. It was the exact opposite of what everybody
What the hell is wrong with you? She can read.
Those are such. I always think that era is the one that really should. And you know, has a ton of great stories is Martling about that. You know, because
he
was
lived
right.
them.
Yeah,
Minervini too.
Yeah, moving all those one-nighters around the city and outside of the city. But those to me are the best comedy.
But the
stories.
edge, the way the guys lived their lives, they were on the edge of everything. I need some kind of order and stuff.
Sure.
I can't, you know. I had uncles like that growing up. They nothing fazed them. You know, like checks would, we had an uncle walk in, hey, Uncle Tony, redeposit. He knew he wasn't good for the fucking money. But they just tell you anything you want in the moment and they move on. I don't know, I got a conscience. I don't know what the hell happened to me. Yeah. Probably Catholicism. He's dead, your fault. I got to carry that fucking burden. Right. But yeah, I can't live, I can admire that life, but I can't live it.
Well, you know what that reminds me of is Henry Hill in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
For some reason, he was there but never committed one of the murders. But he was there at you know,
interesting.
There's no reason to believe anything in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Because Henry Hill, it's his story.
Yeah. What is it called? Like not a corrupt narrator.
Oh
or
yeah,
something
like
unreliable narrator.
Unreliable narrator. But he was up on 57th when we came out one day. And he says I think he said, I'll write you a check right now for $100 for a cigarette. He would just write check.
Yeah.
Would have his name on it.
It's not on a check. It's on a receipt or it's a quick pick. Yeah. This is a winner.
But, you know, he was out there and this was years after Goodfellas. So, you know, he got paid and everything. I don't think he had any shoes on. He was just running around on 57th Street. I'm like, what a madhouse. This is a madhouse. But how can you trust any of those guys with any of the stories?
No, you can't. You can't trust it. Even the stories, I knew a bunch of those guys. You know, I just knew them because in the neighborhood and growing up and stuff. But they're all charming characters, but they're fucking killers.
Right.
You know, they're fucking killers. That switch goes off. You're like, okay, I gotta go home.
Now that's the thing though. The Italians always, even law-abiding Italian, love the idea of the mafia.
Every guy thinks he's like, even growing up, my cousin like, I should make a call? What the fuck you gonna call? You called me to pick you up. Who you gonna call? You work for the water company. Who are you calling with all your influence? Yeah. He said, but every guy thinks that, you know, they can get something done. And I know where it gets done. Right. But my father scared the shit of me. He goes, don't you ever get on the pad. You never get off. Right. You know, it's like, and there was a club in Brooklyn. I don't think it's there anymore. And a guy, I was funny because I would work the club and, there was a hypnotist that couldn't put anybody under. No, you got to hypnotize people in Brooklyn. It's a two-man job. One guy waves the watch, the other guy shoots him with a tranquilizer dart. But he's up there waving the fucking watch, and no one's going down. So he goes, Adam, get back up there. So I went back up and I did another half hour, and he took a liking to me. He goes, you know what? You're here on time. You stick to your time. You run the show. The audience likes you. I can count on you. Show business is a rocky road, and I want to help you. I want to help you. You're a good kid. You ever hear Bobby Vinton? Of course you did. Well, we were very helpful with Bobby's career. Like I said, show business is a bumpy road. We can pave that road for you. And at the end of any kind of construction project, there'll be a toll. And that's when I went, thank you so much. I got to go. Because I got the warning from my dad, you know, and you just know that, okay, this shit exists, but it ain't a freaking fairy tale.
Right.
You know?
Well, that was always the funny thing about the Mafia is like they were always bleeding each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were bleeding their own.
They're like the intelligentsia. They kill their own. They don't really, you know. They were the police force when you couldn't go to the police force. Right. And you had a problem with somebody. You usually had a problem with a criminal. So it was a self-policing criminal enterprise.
Yeah. But now with the Russians, we wish we had the Italians running the Mafia.
Yeah, and Albanians.
At least
years ago, there were rules. There were rules.
Look, Vito's finally sitting forward. This is the
I don't want it near schools. I don't want it sold to children.
Vito, that's the life you wish you had, right?
Oh, yeah, my entire childhood. I remember going to school when John Gotti died, being really broken up about it because I heard about it my whole life.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when Gotti died, the flowers were amazing. Like, there would just be this thing, it was like martini glass in flowers.
Oh, God. Yeah, my grandmother's funeral. Because my part way down the line, I think it's on my father's side, his great-grandmother had a safe house uptown. So when they got in trouble, she would go up and legs diamond. They would tell stories, right? So she would go up and she ran the safe house. So she was taken care of. Her groceries showed up. Nobody parked in front of her house. But when someone had to hide out, that's where they went. So we heard the stories. And when you said that you wanted that life, you don't want that life.
I mean, growing up, it was so like romanticized in my family.
Yeah, it's all romanticized.
And then
it's all bullshit.
All my uncles were supers, so for some reason I thought we were in the mafia because they act like every super.
My
in New York
great
City.
ran the safe house. Don't you think that she was messing around with those guys? They couldn't leave.
They couldn't leave.
Was Grandma a whore? Not as far as you know. But we got parking. We don't pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those stories were around when you were growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all around growing up because you would hear them, but you wouldn't believe anything. But then when you got the warning from your father, that's when I knew.
Yeah.
Hey, this is all fun and games, but.
Yeah, that's very Bronx Tale. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I think people love the Bronx Tale is, no one ever De Niro is my favorite character in there. Mm-hmm. But that's the only thing that kept that kid alive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's that one thing that you try to do with kids. You just put that thought in their head that it'll come up at the right time. And you don't know whether it will or not.
No.
You know?
But I knew enough to see the way my dad conducted himself. He would always shake hands, very, very nice, get in a truck, and we would go home. And he never brought that home. So it was always around us.
Yeah.
There was always the part of our family that was around us, but it was never, and he always made it a point to say, you see that? And he would point shit out. And then you're right, at one point, a switch goes off in your head. And your spidey sense goes, Well,
it was always funny because in the music business, the mob was always involved. Mm-hmm. And if you were in the tri-state area and you ever, like in the early 60s, put a quarter in the jukebox, 100% of that money went to the Mafia. Mm-hmm. Nothing went back. Yeah, that was just the deal. Those songs would get played, and somebody would come around and collect those nickels and dimes, and then take that to the mob. So the guy to read the book is Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yeah.
Because there you hear this poppy, fun, sweet music, and he wasn't getting any money from these dudes. Nothing. The guys that were running that whole thing were as scary as shit. Yeah. Scary as shit.
I talk about in my act. I mean, I got an Uncle Tony that I reference in my act, and it was like how you made money and how there was a piece from my act where I say that he would pick me up from school and say, "What they teach you?" And I said, "Well, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach him to fish, he eats for the rest of his life." And my Uncle Tony goes, "That's wrong. You give a man a fish, that man owes you a fish and a half. And every day he don't pay you back goes up another half of fish. You don't see no fish a couple 3 weeks, you tell me, we take that man to the dock and we teach that man how to swim." So, you're right, there's always your hands always in your pocket. This is going to happen, so that doesn't happen.
Right.
And, it's always, you want us taking care of it because there's a bigger monster out there. And you believe it. You don't believe it, but you say, oh, thank God you're here.
Yeah, thank God you're here. Yeah. Everything's going well now.
Adam Ferrara is in studio. Adam's performing in Levity Live in West Nyack, New York, tomorrow night, Thursday, March 23rd through Sunday, March 26th. Go to levitylive.com for tickets. On Twitter, it's at Adam Ferrara, and he'll be guest starring on Criminal Minds on CBS Wednesday, March 29th.
Where did you grow up?
Outside of Philly, Delaware County.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Nicky Scarfo.
Yeah.
Little Nicky Scarfo.
Little Nicky was fucking scary as shit.
Yeah.
And then Chicken Man Tesla was before him. That's the one that got blown up. This is when the Philly mob.
They blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night. Yeah.
They were using explosives. Yeah. I don't know whether somebody was back from a war or whatever, but people used to blow up. Yeah. It would be something in there, either not just their car, it could be the front door or the mailbox. And then there was always a frightening scene in Philly. But what happened was they had Atlantic City, and then when the casinos went in there, New York won it. Mm-hmm. Atlantic City.
That's when all the shit went down.
That's when all the shit went down.
That's when they blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night.
That's when they were fighting New York on their home turf. Never a good idea. Never a smart idea.
You're playing an away game. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. But so I grew up, and even Frank Rizzo was the mayor when I was a kid of Philly, and he was a guy who was a cop, but it seemed like he was a mafia chief. You know what I mean? He ran the city as if Don Corleone had just been elected.
There was my Uncle Tony would tell me, I got a traffic, I got to go pay. He goes, what, pay it? Just pay the cop, it goes away. He goes, I've had cops make change for me.
There were rules then.
There were rules. Vito, you don't know.
We got to wrap this up.
Yes, we do.
Adam, always good to see you.
Always good to see you, my friend. Safe trip to Washington.
Yeah, and good luck with this TV shot. I'm going to be watching it.
It's going to be fun.
I don't know if I want to see you break down like this. I'm going to be nervous.
I'll do it in the car.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you in the car.
I'll have to watch your imaginary son disappear.
Yeah.
Just text me and let me know he's okay.
He's okay. Fast forward. My wife does that for a movie. Goes, we got to fast forward to the end. I can't watch it. I got to make sure he's okay, and then I can go back and enjoy it.
Okay.
Adam Ferrara's been in studio. He's performing at Lovely Live in West Nyack, New York, tomorrow night, Thursday, March 23rd, through this Sunday, March 26th. LovellyLive.com for tickets. Criminal Minds will be on Wednesday, March 29th. That's on CBS, and on Twitter, it's at Adam Ferrara.
All right, that's it for us, guys. Otto and George on the Unmasked. You've got to go back and listen to that. It's fantastic. Tomorrow, big show, so make sure you're listening for that. We'll plug it all again, and you can follow online. And then we'll see you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!